Welcome to Wednesday Comics. To my right, we have Ben Riley himself. Alex, how you doing?
Hello, everyone.
What does he wear, a hoodie, or what does Ben Riley wear? A vest?
He wears a vest over a hoodie.
Like 80s style. Like Martin McFly.
Of course.
Right.
That's how I do it.
And across from me, we have Logan himself. Welcome back, Garrett.
Dude, that is a nice name.
That's like the nicest one
Thanks,
you've ever
Marvin.
gotten.
I've never felt more
I
badass.
say welcome back because you just came back in Marvel Legacy. Is he showing up at anything else?
Nope.
Be right back, he said.
He's like,
Still drinking those beers.
yeah, he's hanging out in his truck, just drinking.
Do you think that he's going to get his own book as being brought back, or is he going to be like come into an ongoing series that's happening right now?
I guarantee you'll get his own book. There'll be an Old Man Logan book and a book just called Logan. Guaranteed.
You don't think he shows up in like All New Wolverine or anything like that?
He's going to do Kill Laura Kinney and be like, this is my book now.
Oh, well, no, there's no event. That
I know.
Avengers thing's an event. No, I was going to say, I'm just trying to figure out ways that they're going to bring him back. And you're right. It's just going to be
I just
a
assume
new
either
series.
like they'd bring him into a book going, oh, we need the best there is, and then he'd show up.
He's too hot to be
like,
on somebody else's
I'm
book.
already here. Brr.
Even though I feel like, because they're going to do that Phoenix Resurrection storyline, that if he was to show up in another book, not his own, that would be it.
Well, they just announced a new X-Men Red book.
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Tom Taylor?
yeah.
He'll probably show up on that book. And I am your Dr. Manhattan. Marvin, how you going? See under this? Naked. Obviously, sure. Under this. I have to say, this is my skin.
Time's
So
all a
dumb.
matter of perspective.
Before the show, lively debate. Me and Garrett were at each other's throats, and Alex was laughing in the background. Some news came out that, what's his kid's name?
It's like Augie. I'll look it up. But the guy from the kid from Iron Man 3
Yes.
with the potato gun is going to be in Avengers 4. Now, before we
What, you mean the one coming out next year?
the Infinity War.
Yeah, okay.
So, in what world? Why would they bring him back?
Because he was in Iron Man 3.
Who cares? He plays such a small part. Are they bringing back? Are they didn't bring back Hammer? He's not in it.
How do you know?
Hammer went to prison.
So
So why bring him back if he's in prison?
why bring back a kid if Tony Stark gave him $1 million and
He's
let him
not,
do his own
he's
shit?
not in prison.
Whatever.
So
He
anyways,
plays the kid named
Garrett
Harley.
said, and we started talking about it, and I said, let's say this for the show. Garrett says he's going to be the new Tony Stark, the new Iron Man.
Okay. No, he's not going to be the new Tony Stark.
I literally said when they recast Robert Downey Jr.
I don't think they're going to
who do you
recast
think
him.
Who do you think will play him? And you said, that little kid for Iron Man 3.
I meant he's going to be Iron Man.
Well, that's not what you said. Alex, you were here.
Okay,
What
fine.
did
Then I will. Okay, whoa, slow down.
And I said, how are they going to recast?
Hey, Hot Wheels.
There is a lot of
slow
blood
down.
just being...
Look at all this red on the fucking thing right now.
I said, how are they going to
Hey.
recast Robert Downey Jr.
Whoa.
with a 16-year-old kid? Look how old he is.
I'm sorry that Piper left you because you talks too much. Okay, but now just
does
chill
that mean?
out.
What does that mean?
Oh, because I thought you said you looked like Tony Stark.
Oh, Piper. It's Piper.
It's Pepper.
Pepper, whatever. Pepper Potts. Okay.
You're
I lost
stupid.
my train of thought. But basically, I'm accepting that I said the wrong thing. I didn't mean he was going to be Tony Stark, but he will be Iron Man. Is my case still
That kid?
justifiable? I think so.
Iron
Okay.
Kid.
They
think
planted
there's-
the seeds in Iron Man
There's
3.
definitely a higher chance of that happening than him being Robert Downey Jr.'s
Yes.
Tony Stark.
They're not. It doesn't.
But I still don't think that's going to happen. I think he's just going to show up like in the crowd or something like that and be like, hey, guys, like, you remember me? And he'll like be fighting some minions.
Marvel's
of
not that
Thanos.
creative. They have to literally explain that
talking
to
about?
all their fans. I mean, like, with that shit, there's no way they're going to
They
be
made
like...
a big deal about a waitress in Avengers.
Yeah.
They'll make a big deal about any kind of small character.
And you know what? The important thing about that girl who's the waitress, she plays Ellie in The Last of Us.
Yeah, and two.
But I just mean that if Harley plays Iron Man, then they don't have to recast Tony Stark for a while.
They're not going to do that little kid. What's
I
his name?
guarantee. His name is...
I think he said his name was Augie. Now you just call him Harley.
the actor's name is August or Augie.
Well, you look up how old he is. There's no way they're making their new Iron Man, their flagship movie. They're going to attach it to some 16-year-old kid who's been in one movie.
Holy fuck. When do you think... There's 2 movies coming out with Marvel, right? And they're going to be done by 2019. What year is it?
2017.
Okay, add 2 years. So he'll be 18 years
So they're
old,
gonna sign
right?
this-
Spider-Man's the year after that in 2020.
They're signing some kid to make a movie 10 years in the future. Who knows? He might be dead by then.
10 years? You
He might
think
have some
10 years?
scandal. He might be in drugs.
There's
whatever.
no way it's 10 years.
No, what did you literally just say? How long is it going to be then? 5 years.
If he's 16 right now,
Yeah.
and then 2 years from now we get the Avengers 4.
What would be the point of casting the kid 5 years in advance?
Because why does he have to be an adult to be Iron Man? Riri Williams is in high school.
But this is just some random kid.
It's not a random kid. He was in Iron Man 3. He was crucial to that plot.
I understand that, but it makes absolutely no sense.
Holy fuck. Talking about the whole Marvel comic line right now. Half their heroes that are taking over are half their
Hear
age.
me out. That parrot in Iron Man 2, is he going to be in a movie?
That parrot should be dead. And it's
Was it a parrot or was it a... What's that other bird called that looks like a parrot?
They never describe it.
Cockatoo.
I don't know. They
It's
never
cockatoo.
say it.
I
But
think it was cockatoo.
whatever. But if you're literally saying, like, if you think of all of Marvel's characters right now, half that character's age is who's currently playing that.
And then, that robot from Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, that's Ditz. He'll be the new Iron Man.
He was in Spider-Man Homecoming.
He's in Homecoming.
See, he's a star. He keeps being brought back, some random person. You said they don't
It's
do
not
that.
random. He fucking hands him the drink.
That's what I'm saying.
And a fire extinguishes him when he burns up on the floor.
This kid's going to be in the crowd. Something's going to be falling down, and Tony's going to save him. He's like, oh, wow. And then he's going to be like, hey, remember me? And that's going to be a little, hey.
He gave him a bunch of like...
And then Garrett's
He gave him like $1 million and gave him basically a laboratory in his garage.
Oh, okay. So he's going to make some sort of device, and when they're down on their luck, he's going to be like, oh, and use something to save them for 2 seconds.
No. Tony's probably going to die. And Tony's not an idiot and is not going to be like, well... You guys don't get an Iron Man. Fuck you.
I just don't understand where the jump in logic is from some random kid and you're now drawing like, this guy's going to be Iron Man. Like, that's the...
Because that's been the question for the last 2 years that Robert Downey Jr. is not going to do this forever. He'll be the first one to leave.
Wouldn't it be more
get
obvious that
recast.
they just make War Machine the new Iron Man? Don Cheadle?
He's handicapped.
He could walk. He's walking at the end of the movie. That's why they didn't kill him off.
So he's the same size as Harley because he doesn't have any legs.
He's been Iron Man before, so why would they make Rhodey
could.
Iron Man? Yeah,
that would be a way too.
He's a star already.
Why do you have to shut down my idea because it's a potential?
I don't just see your
watch Iron Man 3 and then come back to me and see how much that kid's in that movie. He's in half of it.
Yes, but Marvel, Kevin Feige wasn't like that fucking kid. That's Iron Man.
No, but over time they're like, what are we going to do now that Tony's Iron Man's leaving?
They already have Don Cheadle signed for multiple movies, and they'd rather be like, "Oh, you're going to be Iron Man because we already paid you."
He's not funny.
Rather than sign
that Harley kid was making fun of Tony the whole fucking movie.
It doesn't have to be funny. He's not going to be Tony Stark. He's going to be his own person.
Right.
Yeah.
As Iron Man.
But this is on record now. If that kid becomes Iron Man.
Yeah. Fucking let's make this bet. What?
I'll give you $50. 50's good.
Same for you for Don Cheadle. Shake it on camera.
Who has a better chance of winning? Don Cheadle. I guarantee you.
Yeah, putting that old fucking man in an Iron Man costume.
But it'll be also a good
They're just going to have to recast him one movie later. He's the same fucking age.
Yeah, but he's worth less money. So they can pay him less money. Tony Stark, there's no way.
A random kid is going to cost more money?
Robert Jr. is not quitting because he's too old. He's quitting because his contract's up. And when they re-sign him, he's going to ask for way more money. That's why he's done.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to also drag it into the ground.
How do you know? I mean,
I think part of it though is that he's been Iron Man for so long that I don't.
I'm starting to get sick of him as Iron Man.
Oh, really?
His jokes are just not funny anymore.
Well, his jokes aren't funny, but he is nowadays he's the face of Iron Man.
He is, but just like Tony Stark in the comics is the face of Iron Man. Guess who's not Iron Man right now? Tony Stark.
Well, no, but
he's in a coma.
His Robo Ghost version of him is
right.
Still looks like Tony, just pink.
They could do that. They could just do a robot Tony Stark.
Well, so it wouldn't make any sense. He would never have to have a replacement. He's got all
and
those
then have all
robots.
those supporting characters around him. But the actual Iron Man just
so would Robert Downey Jr. just have to say like a encyclopedia of words so that
they could just reuse lines from the old movies and not have to pay him because
that would literally fucking piss me off.
Avengers Assemble. Oh shit!
You got it there now. There's a bet on the line.
A Hulk.
We have Augie. What was his name? Augie. You literally said I'll look it up 5 times.
Okay, but you
never
kept, okay. Harley Keener is the name, but the actor is named Ty Simpkins. I don't know where I got
Ty. Yeah, his name's Augie. Ty.
Fuck, I can't remember.
This is There Will Be Blood too.
So if Ty becomes
Rhodey isn't Tony Stark's only sidekick.
Where does
so is right here.
What's the website?
Entertainment Weekly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Elsviner saying, bitch.
And you're saying, so in Iron Man...
Goodbye, bitch.
You're saying in Avengers 4, he becomes Iron Man.
No, I did not fucking say that. Stop putting words in my mouth. I said at some point in time, he will be Iron Man. Did not say by Avengers 4. That's when probably Tony's going to exit stage left. And if he did come back, it'd be as like a cameo to be like, to usher him on his way.
Here's a different question. Tony Stark, Iron Man, dies in Infinity War. Like, they need a big death for that. He's going to be leaving anyway, so you think it happens?
Yeah. And then in his will and testament, give all my shit to Harley. He'll take over. If Don Cheadle can walk again, he can do it.
Since you're throwing out theories, do you believe the theory that that's his kid?
No.
Okay. Because they talk about how like his mom...
I've seen it, but
he talks about how his mom knew somebody like Tony. And then Tony's like, oh, maybe.
That would be so fucking stupid.
And then that's why he becomes Iron Man, because he's Tony's son. That would make more sense.
It would make sense.
So we'll see in Avengers 4, if he finds out that's his kid, he'll be Iron Man. And I will give you $50 that day.
Still.
Even if like one day...
That's reaching. That theory I don't know if I could support.
What the fuck?
But because, okay,
you don't support it if it's his son, but if he's just some random kid, you're like, yeah, he's going to be Iron Man.
So the first random house that after Tony Stark crash lands in this random town that he didn't try to get to, it happens to be his son's house.
He used to be a playboy.
It's ironic.
But it doesn't mean he went to that town and met a lady and she had a kid. That lady could have went to Tony. He could have been in L.A. or where's he in L.A.? Yeah. Could have been in New York or anywhere. Where the fuck?
I think it's both.
Yeah, whatever he was, that she could have been there, and then she settled in that town.
And so Jarvis was like, "Oh, searching your poon bank. Oh, I'll go to this nearest location."
Just fell.
And then the first house he stumbles upon is his
You know these movies are written, right? Like this didn't happen by chance. Like
yeah, I get that. But I mean, if you're thinking like Alex would think, would that be the case? Like if I got like jump shoot it, like if I got fucking blown out of cannon.
I like how I'll give you evidence to support your theory.
That's not evidence.
And you're like, no, it's just going to be some random kid.
Because it's not realistic. I know it's movies, but that makes zero sense.
They set it up in the movie to be his kid. I would believe you more being like, oh, that's going to be Tony's kid. I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Rather than being like, oh, that's going to be Iron Man.
Okay, here, prove a theory. I'll go walk to your neighbor's house. That's my house. There we go. See, that's as plausible.
What does that mean?
That's just like it. He crash lands in a random ass town. The first house he is. Oh, good thing my son lives here. Makes zero sense. But he will be Iron Man, so not your convoluted DNA.
I look at you argue to get out of the theory by like basically saying nothing. I don't understand anything you just said in the last 2 minutes.
It's too random for him to land in a town.
It's fucking written. If it's going to be his son, they wrote it that way. I understand what you're saying. Like,
then I will go back and I will tweet at those writers and be like, "You fucked up." Like, unless Jarvis was like there's a cameo of him going through all of Tony's contacts. I was like,
you fucked up setting up this story. I'd rather have it just be some random kid.
That's how it's set up in the movie. Unless Jarvis is just fucking... I guess he turns into the Vision, so...
I just told you, there's multiple things in the movie where he thinks that it's his son. So they set that up already. But you're saying, oh, no, that was just random stuff.
It could be. Now that you pointed it out, but I still don't... I think that's way too much of a coincidence. I guess I get it's a Marvel movie and they're trying to set that up.
I understand what you're trying to say. It's too overwritten.
Yeah.
But they set it up already.
Well, whatever. That just makes me more right. So when I get that $50, that gas tank...
What hasn't been overwritten in that like Marvel Universe? Everything's set up that kind of way. You know what I mean? They set stuff up from the first movie and second movie, you know, it all comes back together. So if something's going to happen with that kid, the reason why they bring him back, we already have clues along the way. And the clues we have are that he's Tony's kid.
Which means he would be...
Iron Punk.
He's going to find his birth certificate and it's going to say Tony Stark Jr.
But then after he would become
Iron Man, yeah.
Oh, fuck! You heard it here.
I literally just said if he
$50 comes my way,
he's saying that it's fine if the kid is actually Tony's.
I know.
You're being a dick licker and being like, if he's a stranger.
Is that your new phrase, dick licker?
Yeah, because it's like the least mean thing I could say to someone.
Dick licker.
I'm just saying, yeah, it makes more sense if it's a kid. Then I'm like, oh, okay.
It doesn't. Okay. I guess I pay attention to details.
I like how
movies, I'm not saying that you don't. I'm saying if Marvel's trying to just pull this out of the fucking hat, then I pay attention way too much.
You would rather New Iron Man just be some random kid from some random town.
That's how he was introduced into the story.
But I get that that's how he was introduced.
Yeah,
but
that's
I remember,
what I'm saying.
But I remember them talking about the possibility of him being his kid.
Yeah.
Do you know the odds of that, though?
Do you know how many ladies Iron
She
Man's been
understands the
with?
story.
I get it's a story, but how does that make any fucking sense? If you're trying to ground a story in a realistic world, like you're trying to get all these superheroes and whatever to be in a world that actually exists around us. So Jarvis knows basically within miles where his mistress lives, who happens to have his son there.
What does Jarvis have to do with anything?
Honestly,
Because he's
just
the
saying
reason
coinc-
Jarvis plots the coordinates in Iron Man 3 when he takes off,
He
when
just
he gets
dropped them.
drowned.
That was just random.
And then he died. Thank you. So conveniently for the plot, the first house he stumbles upon, his lost son just happens to live at.
It's called Fate, and that's what this movies are about.
Oh, fuck. All right, let's talk some books.
Let's talk some books.
Like I'm watching.
Oh, I didn't read a script.
Well, I asked you if you wanted to give us the book so we knew what we were going to do. But of course, Alex doesn't know shit. So
I never heard you say that, but you're right. You did say something to me, and I zoned you out like usual. Mostly it's him, but today it was you. Yeah, we'll talk about that first. Royal City number 7. Jeff Lemire writing and drawing. Jeff Lemire. I literally don't have any other books.
Oh, yeah. Damn. I guess. All right.
So you guys have to look them up.
yeah, I got the next one pulled up.
Let's talk Jeff Lemire. The second part of the story with Tommy. He's going to figure out what's wrong with him. Goes to the doctor. Has an MRI. Doctor says something's wrong with you. Can't tell you though.
Yeah, I know that bugged me even when he goes, oh, that could be this. Oh, well, you should be fine. But it could be something else that I'm going to talk about in a different book. Later. It's like, don't you mention, hey, it could be this, but I want to get a second opinion before we freak out.
That just kind of that's pretty cool for how Jeff Lemire is setting that up. Because think about how ancient technology for for the medical field was then compared to now. I mean, you could still figure out what something was. But I mean, you didn't have a lot of tests to prove if something was a specific disease or specific ailment. So I kind of like that. It kind of shows how, I mean, it's again being nitpicky, but you see that because this is what the 80s, 90s,
80 no 90s
because it ends in 93 is the year that Tommy dies.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's only a span of 20 years almost. But
I don't think the MRI's been changed since then though. It's a really old machine. But the
so I mean the doctor's education, not knowing
they
that
know
it's
more
what
stuff,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did find that very strange because actually, in real life, my son had an MRI, and right away, rather than getting a second opinion, the doctor's like, "Oh, it could be this." But I thought it was really weird, and this doctor's like, let's wait."
But maybe that's a 90s thing where it's like, well, I don't want to freak you out. I'm just saying that to me, it would have made more sense going, hey, by the way, your son has this or your daughter has this. Instead of, well, I'm going to get a second opinion before I tell you anything about your child. Let's let you stew in that for a while. Yeah,
and then he gives them an anti-inflammatory, which probably means that his brain is swelling up.
Because his headaches are increasing in frequency and intensity. He's getting more.
That's when he gets him and he kind of blacks out.
Right.
Almost.
Did you notice that the water's up to his knees now? When he gets in that headache mode, it used to be around his ankles. Now it's risen up to his knees. So it's getting worse.
Do you think so? I'm pretty sure he blacks out. That when he drowns, he has one of those headaches and that's how he drowns. He kind of blacks out and drowns. Nobody notices him.
I have a prediction for what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, because the doctor was like, hey, are you sober? Have you had any alcohol?
Yeah.
And they made a specific point about that.
Yeah.
And then
you
I read the back letters. I mean, that is kind of spoilers, but we all know Tommy's going to die. But he's like, well, now we're going to go to a story where there's a lot of alcohol, drugs, and substance abuse.
His brother, what's his brother's name?
Richie.
Richie's going to take him out with his friends.
Right.
And drugs and alcohol are going to be involved.
So I bet, he's going to be on those drugs.
He said, they don't react well. Or maybe, that happens. He gets fucked up and he drowns in a river because, I don't know. But we'll see what happens with him. But the art was really strong in this issue.
Yeah.
A lot of good panels, especially during that MRI scene and right afterwards, too. I really like the story with his dad, too. Or when he's talking about...
Isn't that creatively, it's fun for fans? If you read the first arc... like seeing the radio field and all that. Like that first arc needed to come out first so that you can enjoy the story a little bit more, because you see a lot of the seeds of what you already read in the first arc.
Yeah, we're going to see how much the radios actually mean to his dad.
Yeah.
Because in the previous arc, which takes place in the present, we saw that he had a full collection and he really liked them, the radios. And then this one, he's like, oh, I don't even know what these radios mean. And then the guy's like, well, somebody's going to start somewhere. And he gives them, he's going to buy that radio. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see that happen. But we also see, like, he is, did he get fired in the last issue?
No, he's
taking a break.
He's a manager.
Yeah.
And his boss is putting a lot of stress on him to like fire other workers. And
oh, okay.
Or like,
and so he actually did take a day off.
Yeah.
And we see he took a day off, didn't tell his wife for first off. And then actually his wife's kind of upset because she has to go take Tommy to the doctor, and she has other things going on, and he's more like kind of being selfish, and then will be like, no, I took a day off for myself. And she's like, are you going to do anything today? He's like, no, I'm just going to sit around. Maybe I'll go for a drive. So he goes for a drive, and he finds the radios at that point. So you see at that point, maybe he starts getting into radios and starts doing that as an escape. Like he's tired of where his life is right now, tired of what's happening, and the radios is more of an obsession with getting away rather than the actual radio. We see that. We see Tommy, and then we have that nice little part with his notebooks about his notes about his parents.
I love that. That was
I did
cool.
too.
That was nice.
That's actually something you do learn when you grow up, really, is that instead of looking at your parents like when you're smaller, you look at your parents being like, man, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what's going on. They can do no wrong. They're my parents. Anything they say obviously has to be right. And then when you get older, like you said, the more you learn about your parents' past or learn about their lives and stuff like that, you start to see that, no, they're just people. And then at a certain point, also, like, especially like when I had a kid, you start seeing that, oh, they didn't know what they were doing. I don't really know what I'm doing. You just have to go off of like what people have done before and your best instinct and try to do the best you can. And that's what his parents are doing. And sometimes their lives by themselves, like his dad or his mom, the stress of going to take Tommy and all this stuff, a lot of their personal lives affects how they are parents. And like, it makes them seem smaller and not like this big over thing where you're like, oh, they're my parents. Like there's some sort of ideal you have in the sky. It's more that, oh no, the more and more I get to know them, the more they're just like me. I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very insightful for a kid that's, how old is he? 12, 10?
I thought he was in his teens, like freshman in high school,
16-ish.
14 to 16. I don't exactly remember.
Well, he's in the same. He's in the same school as everyone else.
Yeah, but in those small towns, a lot of them go elementary through middle at least.
Yeah,
high school is its own thing. So, well, I feel like that's at least high school.
The story of how his parents met was kind of.
That was really cool. See how happy they are, and now like just reading that first issue, I don't remember what his mom's name is. Tommy's mom,
Patty.
How she met the dude that she's eventually going to cheat on. What's the dad's name?
Oh, that I don't remember.
Yeah, on the dad. She's going to cheat on him with whatever. Pete. Yeah. So it's just interesting. I like when you can kind of lay the seeds down for what we've already known.
What do you mean? Who did she meet? That
last issue.
Oh, okay.
But you can see, like, at first when she was like, oh, I get that she was mad that she was busy.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe it was like, how am I supposed to cheat on you if you're home?
Yeah.
Kind of thing like that.
I don't really think it was that. It's more
you're
right.
She
had her whole day planned. Like, she took a day off to take care of her kids and do all these responsibilities. Mm-hmm. He took a day off just to hang around. And she's like, really? You're not going to help out? And he wasn't even thinking about his family at all. Wasn't even thinking about her at all.
He forgot Tommy's appointment.
Yeah, he thought about everything. And so he's more self-involved at this point, and she was upset because he's not really thinking about anything other than himself.
Can we talk about the image of the cell tower on his brain? Like, what is that supposed to signify? I was trying to clarify that in my mind. Yeah.
I think he's trying to say something's, so he knows something's wrong with his brain. And that's what his manifestation of, like, the pain is, what he kind of feels with it, that he's getting overloaded with all these signals, kind of. Okay. And I think that's maybe his, like, he's feeling like the doctor, when he says that something's wrong with him, maybe his brain is like misfiring. That's why he's having like these blackouts. I seriously think he's still having seizures. Like, that's what it is. He's having seizures because you can black out when you have a seizure. Yeah. And he's having these pains, and your brain presses against your skull. I believe that's what happens. Yeah, I think so. I don't know though.
I'd give it a 9. I thought it was really smooth. I didn't give it a 10 because I thought I really enjoyed issue 6. I think that was a great first issue of this arc, and this one played along great with it. I don't know. I didn't think it was it just needed something more for me.
I'll go 9 too. I was gonna see. The thing is that I don't know anything in this issue that really doesn't make it a 10.
Mm-hmm. Well, instead I really like the handwritten notes. I'm gonna call them handwritten notes. I thought that was a really strong touch for it. That actually leaned me more towards a 10.
You're right.
Because there's something different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when we read Black Money Murders, where it's the transcripts. I was like, holy shit!
It almost
seemed
like he kind of learned that technique, or he's like from AD and stuff like that, where they're doing the prose in between. There's nothing. I mean, you're right. There's nothing major that happens in this issue. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that is surprising or anything like that. There's just a lot of character stuff, and
not saying that it has to.
No, but I know that's what I'm saying. For me, like it makes me feel like, oh, that's only a 9 because nothing really surprised me. But you're right. Like that kind of stuff is strong storytelling to try and do something else. So, I'm
going to give it a 10. I like this issue.
I really do too. I love this book. Like I don't know what else to say. Every time we come here, I'm trying to tell people to like read it. It's one of the best books out right now. And I think last issue when we reviewed it, I said that I don't think there's been a series in a while that like is 7 issues in, and I'm like, everyone's gold. Like read the whole thing.
I think how much we talk nicely and greatly about Deadly Class. This is a Deadly Class runner-up type of book where we keep talking about it. All we ever have to say is good things about it. That if you're not reading this book, I really do think you're missing out on something.
Daily Class, though, I remember the first arc was kind of okay.
Well, it's because in issue 6 they're doing drugs, and it was weird. I mean, there were some weird parts to it, but
time moves really fast in Daily Class.
Yeah.
Hey, they cast Daily Class today.
What?
I showed Alex. I put it in our chat, and I tagged.
Some of us had to work tonight, so
nice.
By the way, also, if you want the full experience of Royal City after you read the issues, follow his Spotify playlist. It's pretty good.
By the way, everyone, I did read the back matter today.
Oh, you did?
Whoa, the one page of back matter you chose to read.
Yep.
Did you like his back matter about Gideon Falls?
Yeah, nothing to do with this book.
That's true, but Jeff Lemire usually doesn't promote himself, so I was kind of surprised.
And that actually made me go, I want to get that book.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I like the team.
About conspiracies in New York City about the trash people, the garbage company. Trash people. So made me being like, oh, that's a cool concept. Like these guys think that there's some sort of conspiracy. Maybe there is. We'll see. Alex?
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're going to review. Surprise me.
So we got Daredevil, number 595, written by Charles Soule, art by Stefano Landini, and I believe colors is it Matt Mila? It's not on my list.
Probably.
So I know it's Mila. I just can't remember his first name.
Matt Mila, yeah.
Is it okay?
Yes.
I really like this issue.
I enjoyed it a lot.
So
this did save my thought of cutting this book, and not a whole lot of excitement happened in this, but man, it was good. Just the conversation between Mayor Fisk and Daredevil was great.
You know why I think so? Because like Daredevil can go against a lot of physical enemies, and so far in this series, he's gone against a lot of physical enemies. But I enjoy when Daredevil goes against somebody who's just smarter than he is, or like outsmart him. I mean, not even smarter than he is, but like already knows like how he's going to react to things, and already has plans in place. And I just like seeing Kingpin is already like has the upper hand. He's the mayor. He's like, what are you going to do? So Matt is going to lawyers be like, maybe we can get him on this. We can get him on this case or this crime. And they're like, he hasn't done anything. You can't arrest him for the past that you haven't proven, or just because you know that he's into bad things, like he hasn't done anything. I thought there's a scene where we'll go back. Matt gets captured by the cops. Mayor Fisk's major campaign promise was that he's going to lock up all the superheroes. And Matt, in the secretary, was the secretary? Or just his assistant?
I think this is his assistant.
Assistant tells him a story about one time she had a car in New York City. Everything's like having a car. It's like you have a lot of freedom having a car. And one day Spider-Man threw it at Rhino and she lost her car. Because obviously she can't sue Spider-Man for a car back like she could the police. She doesn't have superhero insurance. Actually, we talked about in this show, I asked that question, like, do you think you could buy insurance? Like, there's no way you could afford that premium, like, especially in this. And she talks about it. She's like, it's way too expensive to get superhero insurance because obviously they can destroy your house in 2 seconds. And Yeah. Anyways, so the premiums are high, so she doesn't have it. So she lost her car. And he's like, "Did you vote for Wilson Fisk?" And she's like, "I'm not going to answer that question."
I love that part. That whole like she wasn't going to give him an answer.
Slap
but
in the face.
I'm surprised that he didn't. I guess he could tell how obsessed he is with Fisk. He couldn't use his heartbeat.
I say he mentions that when he gets caught by the cops is that I'm too focused on Fisk that I should have seen this coming.
I don't think, and I can't really right now think of a time in the past where he uses them as like friends or assistants. I think he respects her privacy.
Yeah, I
and doesn't do it.
suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you don't do it by accident.
Right.
He must be that well trained to be like, "Oh, I'm going to listen to your heartbeat."
I'm going to turn off my lie detector.
But
I would assume it's one of those things he almost would have to. He either has to focus to listen. So I mean, if you're in a big crowded
you're
room,
right.
he can't just hear.
you would have to, focus.
You have to
and drown out
focus that.
everything
So it's
else.
either you focus on drowning everybody out, or you have to focus specifically on one person.
So Mayor Fisk said he's going to wrestle the heroes.
He was really cunning. That's what you said. I mean, that's kind of cool that Daredevil's coming back from this blind spot fiasco thing, the land of the blind.
Yeah.
And then it's like, God, I was gone for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Well, I guess it was 6 months or something.
Foggy even says, "Hey, I tried to warn you, but you were out of the country.
Right.
Too busy on
man.
that." Well, it looks like even that
On the vacation,
didn't work out for him for that reason too. Oh, you're right, because he was captured for like 6 months.
Yeah, he was gone for a while.
So Wilson tells the cops that he wants Daredevil. They go out, they pull a sting operation, get Daredevil, and it starts bringing him into his office. And I really like that scene where he's talking to Hammerhead. Hammerhead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially that sounded weird for me. And Matt's overhearing the conversation, obviously, because he has super sensitive hearing. And he hears the conversation be like, now Fisk, now you're in place. Now we can run this city and all this stuff about how now they're going to be top dog. And Matt's like, "Oh, okay, now you're right. Now he is working against the city. He's working with all these bad guys. Like he wants me to hear this. Why does he want me to hear this for?" And then Wilson's like, "Oh, I don't work with you guys anymore. Like I just wanted to come in here to tell you we're done. Everything's done." He's like, "Now get out." And Matt hears that part, and still, like Matt's still like, "Oh no, he's playing everybody. He's playing everybody."
Yeah.
And then he gets into the room, and Wilson's like, "Hey, I'm the mayor," and all this stuff like that. And he breaks free of the handcuffs, and he still goes after him. And he escapes. So, like, I do like this story. It kind of reminds me of a story we're reading right now, Batman White Knight, where Joker's like, "No, I'm legit now. Like,
Yeah.
what are you trying to do? I'm trying to prove that you are the cancer to the city." And that's what Wilson's trying to say. You guys are the problem in the city. Like, these people don't like you. That's why they elected me. They wouldn't elect me if all I campaigned on was like, "We're going to stop you guys." And they said, "Okay, be mayor." So how do you think they like you? They don't like you. I thought it was really good. It's a nice political kind of story, but it's also, like you said, having a Wilson that I know is physically can take him on, but that's not what he's doing. He's using legal ways to stop Daredevil and stop Matt. He knows he's Matt Murdock.
No, he says in the book, I don't think he knows who I am, but he knows Daredevil well enough. He knows that we are connected.
Oh, they're connected. Yeah.
What do you mean they're connected?
He knows that they work together.
I say Fisk knows that they know each other.
Oh, right,
He doesn't
right,
know that they're one and the same.
I did like the first couple of pages. That was kind of like a sort of mini origin for Fisk. And then it's kind of cool that because we all read that Kingpin mini.
Yeah, and it ties into this.
Oh,
it does. Because he's like, Foggy was like, "Oh, even that book."
Oh,
it's kind of like that small statement, but how much came behind that? Just like, "Oh, even that book."
And you can see in that book, or even in that series, he was trying to set up being like a good guy.
Yeah.
Showing that he wasn't bad anymore. And well, in that series, he was kind of like back and forth. He would still do bad things.
Right.
But he wasn't exactly 100% a criminal. And that's what he says too. Like when he was campaigning, he said, "I'll make sure to bend the rules in a way that we can get stuff done in the city. Like I know how to bend the rules in the right way."
Well, and I like the fact that I see, at least right now, I see Fisk as he's a good guy in his own right, where I know Daredevil thinks, "Oh no, you're the bad guy. You're doing this for the wrong reasons." Well, he's not. Wilson Fisk loves the city.
Yeah.
And so does Daredevil, but they love it in a different way. They're willing to do things a different way.
The art was also very good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
It was very...
I pulled it open,
Yeah.
and I thought for a second, I was like, "Oh, no, I'm not going to like this."
Because it looked like that last chord
It
issue
did.
on the cover
It did,
of that one
100%.
guy.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I thought when I opened it. But then as more so I went along, I was like, I like this style. It's not the same style as Ron Garney, but
Right.
I like this style. Like if it switched between these two, I'd be fine with it.
Right.
Very colorful. Like you said,
Same.
Matt Miller, it's not, even though Matt's doing the colors for both people, Ron and who's the artist?
Landini.
Even though he's in the colors for both artists, makes it look a little different. He doesn't color them both the same way. So yeah, I really liked it. It was a big surprise.
Yeah,
Like you
same.
said, this was the one
I was ready
gonna
to drop.
This is the one I was going to be like, man, you can't keep going back and forth between doing a bad arc and then doing an okay arc or doing a good arc.
Yep.
Like you need to find, and I think Charles Soule works best when he's doing a story that has legal aspects, but it's not about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when he's like full in on the cases, then it's kind of like, ooh, he's too far in. He doesn't see that nobody else cares about this.
When he was when Murdoch was in the ADA or the DA's office, and he's talking about, we're going to get into that really boring lingo, and it wasn't. We got through the conversation, went to the next thing.
That's what I mean.
And when he goes to the entrapment, or at least that's what Daredevil calls it, when he goes to fight the cops, he goes, "This is entrapment," and the cops go, "Well, if your lawyer friend was here, what would he tell you to do?" What was it? And give not surrender, but it was a different word. Comply. Comply. I thought, oh, you know what? That was well written. I enjoyed that part where it's even Daredevil's not stupid enough to go up against the snipers up ahead. I was like, yeah.
And last thing I would say, sorry, we didn't say
no, I was going to give it a rating. So if you got something to say,
that 2-page origin recap that was drawn by Rod Rice looked fucking amazing.
Yeah,
it did. I went through and
God.
I looked at the art and I was like, man, this art's good. And then I got to the end and I saw his Rod Rice and I was like, he needs to do more stuff. I mean, I believe now he's working with Marvel because he did stuff for Secret Empire.
Yeah.
So, but he needs to be on a book like permanently. I would love if he'd be on Daredevil.
Oh, he would look great.
It was him, Ron Garney, and then this person here. Be fine. Be good. If you need 3 people, do 3 people. 9.
Yes, 9.
If you're looking to jump into Daredevil, if you're missing out on this, good part. You can go jump in here.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It really doesn't tie into anything that's happened so far in Charles Soule's run, except like maybe if you want some backstory, read that Kingpin mini, and that's it. And then
that
jump
would
into
be
this.
nice.
Yeah, that's it.
I think
and I didn't know if that was Soul.
No, it wasn't. But I'm saying,
no, I know. I'm just saying that you're not missing out. It's not a Soul,
and
thing
you don't
need
have to.
read.
Like you said, it doesn't mean anything. It's one line, but it just adds to see if you want to see how Kingpin got to this point, how he's trying to work the system and try to get Daredevil on a different way. Right? He's tried. You know what? He's a smart man. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. So he's like, well, let me become.
It's called insanity, Marvin.
Ooh, he's that crazy.
Next book, we got Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 16, written by Scott Lobdell, art by Dexter Soy. I don't know what the colors are.
Awesome.
This series is incredible. Like, it makes you sad that we love the team.
Sorry, I thought you were trying to grab my arm. I thought, leave me alone.
No, sure.
We love the team of Roy,
Artemis,
and
Bizarro.
No, not them.
Oh,
Roy, Starfire, and Jason.
Arsenal.
But this team works way to get better together. Works way better.
You've got the 2 heavy hitters, but right now 1 heavy hitter is a genius. I love this book, and I do love that Bizarro is smart.
He's smart. Yeah, he's more interesting of a character. It's like, what if Lex Luthor got Superman's powers and decided to... I mean, we know Lex Luthor is kind of a Superman person, but besides the point. But Bizarro has these powers, and he wants to be like the superior Superman, basically, as opposed to like Superman's, kind of taking a step back. Like, I don't want to interfere too much. Where Bizarro's like, I'm all in.
Yep.
Enough where he's made a vow, like, we're cleaning up Gotham City, and then he goes. Well, last issue they fought the detective team.
Yep.
From Detective.
Well, I was confused at the beginning of this issue. I thought, why the hell are we in Belle Reve?
It was a future, and then it flashes back.
Yep.
Right. Because they put them in Belle Reve.
Due to the fact that they're not, it wasn't outlaws, but it's the fact that they are super powerful.
Just trying to get them off the board, basically. Yeah. And so it's basically, this issue is Red Hood and the Outlaws with the Suicide Squad, which I was kind of dreading because I hate when, for some reason, the Suicide Squad gets thrown into everything now.
Yeah.
But I really liked all the character moments for the team. And then I did like Harley's drawings of the team where it was like, I don't know. It looked
childish.
Yeah, childish. Yeah. Like, that was pretty fun.
But I like how Artemis is sheet paper that she's drawn looked pretty much solid to what she was looking like in the seat that is the actual character.
And her hammer is so freaking huge. Not Harley's, but I mean the
axe.
That's her mistress or whatever she calls it. She calls it mistress. It's so sweet.
Well, God, this book is so good. I'm glad that you're reading at least online.
Yeah,
because if you weren't reading this book, I think you'd be missing out.
Dexter Soy on art.
Yes.
Wow, amazing. Like, if you go back to that Red Hood and the Outlaws Rebirth issue, his first one,
Yeah.
where he goes through the whole history of Jason Todd with Batman, like, even that was, so good.
I know you and I were talking about not getting that issues.
Right.
Because it's like, why would I get this? That was a great issue
It was way worth. That was like the only one worth it to get for those rebirths.
So at the end of this issue, we go to, it's Suicide Squad and the Outlaws are teaming up together to go, where are they going?
A snowy place.
Yeah. I don't remember where they were going to.
Well, that was kind of convoluted. It's like they're going somewhere to, shit.
Yeah, I don't actually remember.
Basically,
But Amanda Waller
I know
and
what it
Bizarro
is.
were teaming up to.
there's a hidden area in this, like, under the earth where, basically, remember Hive?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where, there's bad entities coming, and so they're going there to stop it.
Yeah.
So that part I didn't like about the story. I think it's always when it's about the characters that's more enjoyable. And Jason Todd's kind of a putz, which he's more putsy in this series than he's probably ever been in any other book. But it adds humor, because like you think you'd get humor from Bizarro, which right now he's being serious.
But that's the thing is, I think they actually equal each other out right now, because usually Bizarro's the putz, not knowing anything other than me smash. Yeah, right now they kind of made Red Hood to be the dum-dum.
Right. So based on the story, I'd give it an 8, but because of the art, it goes up to a 9.
Yeah, I agree. I think a part is I'm biased for this book. I love this book.
I couldn't drop it to save my life. And like Bizarro is basically treated like a dog, kind of thing. Like it's like their best friend. And man, there's some scenes that make me want to cry. I'm just like, oh fuck.
Well, I think the thing is that I love that he's smart, but I almost miss the dumb Bizarro.
Oh, it's coming back.
Because I know
he's slipping.
Yeah, I know he's slipping away to going back to what he was. But I tell you what, I don't normally like Bizarro, but man, this book makes you almost want to cry for Bizarro for how much he loves those two.
Right.
And Artemis and Red, holy shit, they've got this like nice,
banter.
Not necessarily even, it's not even flirty banter. It's just that, I guess we're a team for right now until I want to kill you.
Right. So. They both have like an admiration of Bizarro and
but they both love Bizarro, and that's what makes me happy. It's like two parents who are like, we got this kid that
you have to stick around with.
Yeah,
obviously.
So
cool.
What you got?
The way you started talking, and like, I'm glad you're reading this online, and my mic was, I shut off my mic while you guys were talking about it. So then I was going to say something. So you go up to the mic, you saw us in the video, watching the video. I go up to the mic to say something, turn it back on, and then you guys just continue talking. Shut it off. Made me
That's why you always keep your mic on.
Wildstorm, Michael Cray, #2. This is Brian Hill, Stephen Harris on art, Dexter Vines on art. Second issue of the 12-issue, I can just say mini maxi, whatever. Michael Cray story.
I'm confused. Is this Elseworld?
This is Wildstorm universe. I was going to say that.
Okay.
It has to be.
And the first one we learned... Did you read this?
No.
Okay.
But I read the plot.
And the first one we learned that Green Arrow is bad. He's hunting down people on an island, which I thought was
most dangerous game.
I thought he's fucking cool.
Yeah.
He goes to the island, and instead of learning how to be a better human, he goes to the island and becomes more primal. And is like, no, I got to make sure that I'm like the best there is and hunt people.
Yeah.
If they don't deserve to live, they don't deserve to live. Like, instead of realizing on that island that everybody deserves to be treated with respect and to live, he goes to the island and was like, oh no, I was the strongest one that survived. I'm going to keep proving that I'm the strongest one. And he brings people to the island as a rich person and kills them. And vets too. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
He brings vets to the island to kill them because he brings homeless vets so nobody's going to miss them.
Damn.
It's so fucking dark. Oh, that happens this year.
Well, I thought I was reading this like, okay, I know this can't be
No.
in the world because Green Arrow's dead.
Yeah, he killed him.
He killed him.
He killed Oliver Green.
Oliver Queen.
Yeah, he killed him.
I did read the solicits for what's coming up, and as soon as I read the solicit for the
I think it's
issue in
cool
December, like I knew it wasn't in continuity.
I think it's a cool concept. It's a Wildstorm universe, but these characters from DC exist in this universe, I guess. But what I said before this thing started, I believe it's going to be the DC characters that are like realistic, like Batman. Oh no, never mind.
No, because the next character's not realistic.
We learn at the end of the issue that he's going after Flash next, Barry Allen. He's a bad cop. Like a bad cop in the PD and using his powers for bad stuff.
Right when I read, and I didn't even see the thing. I just looked at the picture and I was like, oh, blonde guy in red coat. I know who that is. goes, he's a bad cop. Oh fuck, it's Barry. So this actually, I really enjoyed this issue.
I did. In this issue, he gets his team. They do a VR kind of simulation to see if they're ready to be on his team, and he kills them all.
Yep.
And he's like, "All right, you guys can be on my team." He's like, "You guys have good ideas, but obviously you can't beat me."
I like, yeah.
And they're like, "What happens if he dies?" And that's where it ends. So you don't hear the answer. No. Do we get his job if he dies? That's what she asked.
If we kill him.
If we kill him. And then he goes off, and he's like, "I'm doing this. I'm going to get Green Arrow alone. I don't need the team for this one." He's like, "So you really just assembled us, and now you're going to leave?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this on my own." He goes, pretend he's a homeless vet. He shows up, and he gets recruited. Thea's in this. Thea from the show, Green Arrow, and also Diggle's in this too. He gets mentioned in one panel.
Oh, okay. I was like, I must have missed Diggle.
He's not in the actual issue, but they say,
Just mentioned.
"Oh, there's an issue where I think it was last issue. He slept with that girl, and he's like, Diggle, bring her on the car and send her home."
Okay. Yep.
And she's like, I meant more to you. He's like, "If you thought that, you're dumb." He's just like this playboy killer guy.
That's right.
It's so American Psycho kind of crazy Patrick. What's his name? You ever seen the movie? Christian Bale.
Isn't it a play off this character of? I can't remember. It's like Patrick Bateman or something like that.
Bateman.
Because it's
Patrick
different than Psycho.
It's kind of like that. Like he's a rich guy that like has no regard for human life, and so like he kills people in that too. And this one too, that's what reminded me of. He's like bring him to the island. He's like killing these people, just like you said, most deadly game. See if he's better.
Yep.
To kill these
Maybe
people.
I
for
have
game.
to go back and get this.
Dude, now that I know it's not part of the universe, it's way more enjoyable.
And so that fight scene was pretty amazing with Green
It was
Arrow.
great.
It was like a 2-page, multiple panels like we've seen in Wildstorm. He fights Barry and
fights Oliver.
Excuse me. Yeah. Michael has these powers where he can touch something and like it vibrates until it disintegrates.
And say he destroys. He blew up a mouse at the end of that first issue.
Right.
So in this one, Oliver tries to grab him. He grabs his arm and fucking disintegrates.
Well, I got confused at the gun because Oliver gives him a gun, and so he takes the gun. He's shooting at Oliver, and all of a sudden he looks at the gun, and the gun's blown away. I thought, what the hell's going on? Then he touches his arm. I thought, holy shit, you're gonna rip his arm off or blow his arm off?
But then Oliver actually gets the upper hand and is just about to kill Michael, and then the sniper from his team shows up and shoots Oliver in the head. So adios.
And I said, to be fair, Michael didn't win this fight. He was dead to rights.
He realized in that point, he was like, okay, maybe I do need a team. And then at the end, they're like, okay, we got your next target. And they talk about it's going to be Barry Allen. And at that moment, I was like, all right, this is going to be cool. For 12 issues, he's going to go and fight like the Justice League. Basically, it's like, what happened? These people got powers in the real world, and they used them for bad things rather than good things.
I really hope that every issue is this way.
And
until issue 12, where he's already wrapped up.
Well, they re-mentioned Batman.
Yeah,
they said there's that guy that just like there's that Playboy that in Gotham, and they're like, what's his name? He's like, I don't remember what his name is. So
that's right. In issue 1, they talk about
obviously
Batman.
Batman's going to show up. He's going to fight Batman. There's no way they drop that line. He doesn't show up.
I hope
Damn,
so.
I got to get back on this book. I'll go back. I'll get issue 2.
It's basically going to be Michael Cray and his new team versus the Bad Justice League, and they're taking. I believe because they said, hey, you're going to assemble a team. You're going to take out some targets for us. I think they're taking them out because they have powers, and they don't want them in this world to go against them.
Was it? No, sorry. I'm thinking of another book that we read this week. Sorry.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I thought for a second I looked at the art and I thought I wasn't gonna like it, but those fight scenes are really good, and like the way he says the panels, I actually really like it.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I like this book a
really
lot.
9. And did he meet his father in this issue or the last issue?
Last issue.
Okay,
because he talks about doing this job.
This issue was just him and Oliver fighting.
Yep.
And then setting up for
and going to the doctor's office.
Oh yeah,
Getting
they
checked out.
They learn he's fine.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, oh, it's not
without. Well, the doctor doesn't know if she didn't see him phase anything away. There's nothing she can do about it. She can't worry about it.
They said, unless we cut you open, there's no way I'm going to figure out what this is. But he goes, it's not life-threatening. You're not going to die.
Everyone else, maybe, but...
I have a feeling that his power is going to manifest and he'll be able to control it at some point, which is actually what he asked. He's like, all I want to do is control it. Like, I don't want to get rid of it. It's fine. If I can control it, then it's fine. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm really excited for him to face Barry. And then, obviously, we'll see. He faces somebody else, obviously, because you read the solicits for December. Or is it this, Barry? That you read.
It was Barry.
Oh, okay.
I read.
Yeah.
I go back and get that badass cover that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm dropping.
It was really fun.
It was good.
I think that's what the Wildstorm we've been talking about. Like, the main Wildstorm is obviously, I think, more set like in science and like espionage, and this is more like a SWAT kind of special ops team. Like that's what this book's gonna be about.
Yeah.
Like him taking out these high level, powerful people for this organization.
But it even makes it now, knowing that Michael Cray is in the main universe, that he is more than capable of taking out Wildstorm.
Possibly. I mean, all he took out was Oliver Queen. We'll see how he does against Barry. Yeah. Barry has the speed
I was saying
force,
that first issue parts I love the most was the Oliver Queen part.
They're obviously going to ramp up. They don't think.
Oh, this one you'll like more than the first issue.
Right.
I think the way that they draw Green Arrow was very terrifying. Like, you don't see, like right here, it's all dark. And like the way he's.
I always thought it was just he's got like a black mask, wears his hood over his head, and he's got his
all
usual.
You can see is his beard and his eyes, and it's really creepy. Yeah. I thought that was a cool way to be like. I was like, wow, okay, you're gonna try something different for this character, to like make him a killer, and it makes sense that maybe like he had two choices to make, either be this hero or be this guy, and like this story about him being this guy instead.
I'm guessing this Oliver loses his money less often. No one breaks into his.
He kills him.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's my turn, isn't it? Sorry. Sorry. I was too busy thinking about Michael Cray kicking ass and taking names. I forgot all. What else do we read? It's not on my thing. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to take it.
I'll give you this.
Wait, I got Coyotes pulled up.
Okay, I was going to say.
So we got Coyotes number 1. Written by... No, it's Coyotes. Written by Sean Lewis and art by Caitlin Kittredge. Sorry. Doesn't have the colors on this one. I'm assuming she does it. What did you think of this book?
I actually really loved it.
Really?
I thought the story and the art was incredible. See, the premise of the story was like it's Underworld meets Sicario, or Cesario, or however the hell you say that name.
Sicario.
It's Sicario.
Yeah.
I love the Underworld series. Now I know this has nothing to do with that, but just kind of like theme wise.
Yeah.
So I think the art mixed with the fact that like coyotes are
you can say coyotes. I'm just not going to say coyotes.
That like the whole issue, you don't think these coyotes are real. Like you think they're like in her mind.
I kept thinking
they were like real humans, but like she has some.
Yep. I always assumed they were people, and that's what she kept calling them coyotes. And in her head, they're the animal.
So the main character's name's Analia.
Yep.
She's a little girl who basically was brought into. Did they go into the U.S.? Yep. Her mother and her sister were brought into the U.S. illegally. Into the city of the Lost Girls, which we're going to find out more because we don't really know much about that town. But basically, the mom is really overprotective of the two daughters. One of them, Analia, and her sister, I think it was Maria.
Yes. Yep.
And so Maria and Analia, like, kind of break out of their own house.
And a little that they went to, I'm going to call it a bar. I don't think it was actually a bar.
Right. It was like a
establishment where drinking was at.
Right. And, like the mom before they left though was warning him like, don't leave, like don't go, the coyotes will get you. And then before you know it, the coyotes start storming this place, kill Maria, her sister. Her friend Eye Patch.
Well, but so before that, Analia
I thought Eye Patch showed up at the establishment.
No, it's the next. It's the next. Maybe it's the next time though you see her. But Analia runs home yelling for Mama, and they go to close the door, and the coyotes break through the doors and kill Mama.
And then, that's when her friend gets her eye clot out.
Yep. Okay.
And then they jump out and then they get away.
That's right.
So, basically, Analia and Eye Patch is what they call her, get taken in by this lady is she the Duchess?
Yes.
That it?
Yep.
Yeah, the Duchess. And as being brought in, basically the Duchess is training them to kill these coyotes, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And it turns out that now that's in the past. Now the main story, which is only a couple pages, is a new cop's come to town. He gets told to come up to a crime scene where basically Analia is sitting in the middle of like 20 dead bodies, covered in blood all over. Not her, but all over the building. There's blood, and she doesn't say anything, and she gets taken into police questioning, and then they were questioning her, like, why were you in the middle of all these dead bodies? Like, why were you in a crime scene? And she warns them that the coyotes are coming. She's not supposed to because her Duchess mother was like, don't. Did I sneeze? Sniff? Whatever. That's when I talk a long time. because I was doing fine up till this point. That she was trying to warn her, and so like we thought it could potentially be a figment of our imagination this whole time. And at the end, the cliffhanger is they find a.
Hey, that's what that character did in the book. Flipped off the cops.
Hey, you flipped me off, or just shut off my mic.
Oh, they shut off my mic.
You can hear yourself, right?
Duh.
So the Duchess and Eye Patch and another girl.
Oh, no, they find what I was going to say is they find the dead coyote.
Well, that's at the end of the book.
At the end of the book.
I was still in the middle of the book telling you that.
I was saying cliffhanger until he fucking
then you flipped them off.
cliffhanged me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what was the rule where Duchess tells them that you have to take their pelts? Is that to kill them?
That's so because I guess it's molecular, like it's through their skin cells that they turn into the coyotes. So you have to deskin them and cut off their heads.
But you find out now that the coyotes are really people who can turn into coyotes,
Right. Like if you kill them, they turn back into the people that they had become.
Which is, I mean, I agree. This book was good,
Right?
But it was a little slower burn than I was anticipating.
And
I was expecting a lot more Red just killing monsters.
But again, it's got to set up the world.
I get,
and that's why I don't like that it's a mini. I want it to be ongoing. But the art
was really
what's
good.
her name?
Kittredge.
Yeah, this is I think her first book she's done. Is what I think it says introducing her. Her art is amazing. Looks so good.
Yeah,
she should be on more books. Like she has that kind of like painting, realistic style, like kind of like not necessarily like Rod Rice, but a little bit less than his. I don't know how I would describe it, but it looks so good.
I'm surprised you don't want to get this book.
For what?
For reading purposes.
Was it good?
It was really good.
Wow.
Do you like the Underworld movies?
No.
You haven't seen any of them?
All right, I own one after Christmas one time. I haven't even opened it.
Okay, so then you have no.
I've seen like Rise of the Lycans.
I don't have any interest. That's one I have.
That was the one that was probably the best.
So good.
I don't. Here's the thing. I like that kind of supernatural stuff. I understand what the concept is.
Kate Beckinsale in a leather suit.
I like supernatural kind of stuff, but I like it when it's kind of dealt with like in an old school way, like Universal Monster style. Now, when it's like, oh God, let's be the Matrix and supernatural, then I'm like,
it's not.
Then I'm out.
Oh my God, that's such a judging a book by its cover that I've ever heard in my life.
No, I looked at the cover, yeah.
Oh my God, that's why I just said.
So I give this book an 8. I did enjoy it, and I want to see it to the end.
I'm giving it a 10. I really enjoyed it. I sat there and I just meticulously read it, and then I like that there's even a 3-page black and white backup to the story. Like, remember where it's explaining his origins of coming to this town?
Oh yeah, yep.
The detective.
Yep, you're right.
So I like a book that's like gives you a lot of material. I know that's the first issue, but that it ties back into the series. What?
Can you stay on the fucking mic?
What do you mean?
Keep up that change your volume because you're like this or like this.
Okay, like this. Sorry, the guy I'm talking to because you're not putting any input. I'm talking to him, but I'll stare at Marvin while I talk to you.
If you have to turn, go like this.
Okay.
See, the nice thing about my nose is that it focuses my voice down.
Just like how
so when I turn,
Marvin's commenting on my entire.
I have this mic going here too. We'll pick up you here.
Oh God. Yeah, I give it a 10. I'm excited for the next issue for sure. I hope it's more than at least 6.
It's not a bad idea.
I'm thinking it's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I know it won't be that many.
Yeah,
but maybe if there's enough fan.
Because when I looked on the Comic Geeks, it was only 3 issues that they showed.
Oh, better not be only 3.
So
it might also be that there's only 3 solicited because they only do it 3 months.
And that might be it too. So
and the 4th one's not out like solicited yet because they don't know if it's coming out.
All right. Last book of the night is Batman Lost, Dark Knight's Metal tie-in, one-shot, written by Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, Joshua Williamson, with art by Doug Mankey, Jamie Mendoza, Yannick Paquette, Jorge Jimenez, with the cover artist being Oliver Coipel.
Did you not get this one either?
I got it.
Okay.
I read it.
I really enjoyed it.
I just pointed at Garrett because we always gave him the one with everybody.
That wasn't even intentional.
I know, he picked it up himself. That's what made me laugh.
Because Alex passed over it as he went to Coyotes.
I was going to say I went to do it, but it wasn't on my list.
Question.
Yeah.
Who's the artist who did that 2-page spread at Batman in the past? Which one's that? Is that Jorge?
There were so many. What do you mean with him in the past?
Which 2-page?
There's a 2-page spread with multiple panels of Barbados saying that he's like, I saw you and went back to the past.
In the way past, right? Where's the tribes,
like
the cavemen?
He's like, we're talking about your origin, those 2 pages. Was that Jorge?
I
Because
believe
the style of the panels seems like Yannick Paquette, but it's not his art.
Right.
And
It could have been Jimenez,
It looked
but
like
I didn't
it-
look that distinct.
Jimenez, and who was before Jimenez?
Yannick Paquette, Jamie Mendoza,
Jaime.
Doug Mankey, Jaime.
Mendoza. It might have been Mendoza. It might have been Jimenez. Whoever it was is amazing. We have every once in a while, like I like Doug Mankey, but every once in a while I don't like it. It's like it's on and off. Same thing with Yannick Paquette. I usually like him like 90% of the time, but every once in a while it's like
I'm at a solid 10% for liking Yannick Paquette.
his work only works in certain ways. Like if it's unnecessary, I don't like it. And this, I thought everybody did great. The whole issue, art wise, and like it was.
Yannick Paquette scenes. I
Oh
can't
really?
get over.
I liked it.
which ones
It
were
just
those?
looks the ones where there's like not a lot of detail.
It was his first case.
Oh, really? I like those ones.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Almost made me think of
What do
like,
you mean
an
his
old
first
style.
case? What part?
When he gets locked into like the glass case, or when he was after the guy that framed that other guy.
That was all Paquette. I thought he was doing the ancient when they were in the barrister outfits. When he was wearing red and had the white wig.
Oh, I think he did that too.
That
He did
looked
multiple
awful.
things.
But that other one.
Listen, I like the whole issue. I thought the whole issue looked great.
I thought the breaks and when they would switch between artists was great because like it wasn't just like random. They're like, oh, you do this page, do this page. They just like, okay, when you change between time periods, then it's a new artist, which is a nice way to do it, and it makes sense. It should be that way, but there's been times in the past, especially over at Marvel, where they have 15 artists, and you're like, one panel will be for one artist, the next panel will be for somebody else. You're like, what's going on? You just can't find a logical way to break this up. So I do like that it's logical way. Obviously, it's a big book with Scott being on it. I can really tell who wrote what. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
same.
the thing. I
It
can't-
seemed fluid throughout.
The only reason I can tell who did the artist is because their styles are a little bit different. But not even like I don't even know who did that 2-page spread. The only Doug Mankey and Yannick Paquette I can tell you if it's an art. Everybody else I don't know.
Which one would Minky doing?
The grandpa telling them a story.
Oh man, I love those. Those
Yeah,
are
that was
my,
Look good. I like this. The story is incredible.
I thought so, too.
You're telling you like this is a story of like Batman basically being put in a nightmare where he's trying to do one thing, and there's this little girl on his lap that's his granddaughter, quotation mark, not really, but keeps trying to get him to go down the rabbit hole, should we say? And he's like, nah, that doesn't feel right. Like I don't think I should do this. So with Grandpa, and he's like, nah, okay, whatever. So he keeps getting blackmailed and doing this.
Keep turning that on.
Are you getting hot too?
Yeah.
Good.
And I see that you're sweating. Oh, I thought you were hot too.
Oh, I'm burning out. And to be fair, I'm wearing a sweatshirt, but it's chilly outside. Did you guys look at the bookshelf on Grandpa Bruce Wayne's?
I sat there reading it for like a couple minutes, looking at all the titles.
I
cool.
I looked at it. They had Hush, they had Dark Victory, they had Long Halloween. I was like, oh, that's really
Oh, really?
cool.
I skipped. I didn't see that.
Oh,
I even like how the grandpa's like, you sure you want to read like the Long Halloween? It's like,
Oh, is
that's
that the
best one? Yeah, that's one that he said.
that's what he wanted to read.
But she read the Chemical Assassins,
Yeah.
Chemical Syndicate.
The scene you were talking about with the people in robes, Jefferson and something
Yeah.
like that are sacrificing the lady. That is from that story that I read by Peter Milligan, Dark Knight, Dark City, I believe it's called,
Okay.
where Barbatos shows up for the first time. And
I thought he showed up when he gets sent back in time.
nope, that's the second time. Okay, that Grant Morrison took off of the Peter Milligan. Peter Milligan stories from the 80s.
Oh, crazy.
So then,
Because I know you see Barbados in when he's the caveman.
Yeah,
in
he's in that.
Return of Bruce Wayne.
But you know Grant Morrison, he reads old Batman comics. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, that one thing, I'm going to make that thing something big.
Shit, damn.
And so that's what he did. And now Scott Snyder's like, oh, you remember that one thing? I'm going to make that something else too. So I really like that they referenced that scene. That scene's actually in that book. And they're sacrificing the lady to try to make Barbatos come back. And at that point, Batman stops them from doing that. But then he gets locked in a room with Barbatos. So like that's when he's the first time he meets them.
oh, okay. Now, for the longest time, I thought that girl was just Selena Kyle.
Well, he wasn't
From
that
the past.
nightmare, but I
Yeah.
mean, in the actual comic. it was
Oh, I
like
see.
that.
Okay. I say it looked a lot like Selena, but it was. It's just
Most of this was, like ongoing nightmares. Like he can't get out when he thought he was out, and him forgetting where he was, and then finally he persists enough that where he's like, "Oh no, you're in the dark universe. You're Bruce Wayne. You're Batman." And he figures out there's metal behind this wall. That's why the birds keep hitting the window. Which, by the way, if you had a window in your house that birds keep hitting, don't you do something to try to put something in that way?
Right.
So that way, oh no, that window's just full of blood. Birds hit it all the time. It's kind of like, let me put a bush there or something.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? It was so, and by the Scott is first known as a horror writer. He started in horror and he moved on to superhero stuff. So I like when he kind of references his old horror stuff and a lot of scary stuff in this.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne as Batman getting scared. Like that one panel where he's like, I'm tired of oh no, don't. And he's like yelling. I thought that is the scariest thing. Batman is scared.
Yeah.
And he loses it for a second, then he regains himself, goes to the brink and comes back. I really liked it a lot. In terms of tie-ins, I really do think. I mean, it's not absolutely essential to metal, I don't think. But if you really want to know what happened to Batman,
like what he is experiencing while he's trapped in the dark multiverse,
and they said this is going to continue in Batman. I mean, Metal number 4. I would imagine this is basically Metal 3.5.
Yeah, and like speaking of that, like him being old, because I guess the dark universe sucks the youth out of you. I wonder if that's going to stick after this. Probably not, but kind of like with Cap, how they made him Old Man Cap.
But at least Bruce would still be formidable as an old man.
I know.
We're old man captain. You lost all your strength, bro.
Lift up that shield, Sonny.
Yeah, he was old because he lost all his strength. Yeah.
Yeah.
Batman as an old man. We've seen it. Dark Knight Returns. He still got it.
Breaks that kid's leg. You'll walk again.
It was really good. I really did like it. It was $4.99, but it was, I believe, oversized.
Yep. I think it was
a good read.
pages.
It was worth the $5.
I would give it an 8. I've been reading. I reread all of Metal because there's so many plot holes in my head. I was like, I got to go back and read it. So I reread all of Metal and read this, and it fits really well with the story. It felt like just another issue of Metal. So I
give it a 9.
I give it an 8 just because it was good, but he's still trapped. So I was like, I felt like this could be a 2-parter.
I could see an 8. It was really strong, but like I said, you could skip it if you wanted to. Right. It wasn't really essential to the storyline, which, I mean, if the story was a little bit more stronger, I think it would doesn't need to be essential. You know what I mean? If it stands on its own, it's good. But I do think you need to be reading Metal to get into this at all. So it's not like you just pick up this one issue and be like, oh, let me read this Batman Lost. You'd be like, oh, I'm lost. What the fuck's going on?
Right.
So I think I can't really be like, oh, it stands on its own. But have you been reading Metal? I think it's a nice companion piece.
Oh, but I think as a scary book itself, it is kind of scary.
Ooh, when that girl started crawling on the walls?
Ooh, fucking, I don't know how she even got up.
That's the worst thing in horror stuff, right? When they crawl on the walls.
Crawl over and weird angles in their joints.
You ever watch that Legion movie with Paul Bettany?
Yeah,
with that spider lady? Yeah, scary.
Yuck. Actually, that girl just reminded me of Mama. With her long, creepy arms.
That too. That's what I mean. When you have something moving in an unnatural way like that, then all bets are off. I was like, Bruce, beat her head. We're done. Once you start crawling on the walls, that's it. There's no coming back.
I'm going to break your arms.
Even if this guy became possessed, start crawling on the walls, dead. Kill him. I don't care if it's just we can get the demon out. Not worth my time.
No exorcism here. We just kill it.
Marvin, stop. We can exorcise him.
No.
Shotgun. That's something. I'm going to exercise those demons. Play that much. Yeah, it was good. It was good, but it wasn't I didn't read it and be like, man, this is amazing. Right. I read it being like, oh, this is nice.
It adds.
If I would have missed this issue, I don't think I would have. And you guys, well, here's the thing. I can't really know, but if I missed this issue, I wouldn't feel bad.
Right.
But knowing what I just read. But like you said, good artists, good writers. Mm-hmm. It was really solid, but I don't think it's really necessary. And when you're talking about a $4.99 tie-in, I think it has to be a little bit more necessary. At least, I mean, it's good to fill in.
Yeah,
Batman stuff.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen Batman in a while.
Plus, there's just details too, so it's not like they
especially since Metal 5 got pushed back 3 months. So, so what are they gonna do in the meantime?
Did it?
Yeah,
I didn't hear that news.
I read it.
I think I heard it through you. So,
but yeah. I mean, if it's not like they were just like, oh, here's Batman Lost. They just threw whatever out there. Obviously, work went into this. They have detail even in the art, like you said, those stories in the background.
Who's the in the Batman? It's the Batman wearing the hood. Is that the Bat Demon?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it okay?
Barbados.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think Damien showed up in the story?
That's cool. I mean, it was kind of like his fears,
that Damon's going to be a bad guy.
Right.
In the future, when Bruce is not around anymore, and the world goes to shit, he's not going to be a hero. He's going to be on the wrong side. Actually, I guess he technically was a hero, but he's more Punisher than Batman.
Right.
He's just killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Metal, Batman. Oh, this can be hard. Batman lost number 1. We got Rose City number 7. Coyotes number 1. Michael Cray number 2. What do you say?
I was going to say Daredevil, 595.
595. Daredevil. And what was the other book? Red Hood and the Outlaws number 16.
3016.
Was that it?
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
Yep, it was.
Good books. I mean, a nice variety of books this week. I think some things that really surprised me. Michael Cray really surprised me. Really liked it. I like the take on those guys. Rose City Alvis, strong. Jeff Lemire can do no wrong. I'm getting any book that comes out now. Even that Gideon Falls, he's trying to hype me up on it. I go, Jeff, you done enough. I know.
Just gotta put your name on.
Put your name on it. I got him there.
If Trillium came out again, I still wouldn't get it.
It was good.
If Trillium came out again, I would get it.
It was good. You're used to his art now. Go back and reread it.
I tell you what, I want to read Sweet Tooth.
Oh, he referenced Essex County in this book too. How the
that I want to go back and read.
Royal City, whatever, got beat by
Tim Burton's Trillium. I don't want to read that much.
It was good. It really was a story about love through time.
Oh, nice.
Just like your favorite movie, Somewhere in Time, Christopher Reeve.
Nope, I haven't seen it.
We are going to talk about this. Actually, feature that came up in a long time. Go back in, if you go back in the archives, check when it was done last. I bet you anything we haven't done it for like 20, 30 issues, 30 episodes, I mean. CBA, Comic Book Association. If you haven't heard one before, here's how it works. I throw out a topic. We talk about it for a little bit, and then we move on to the next one just to get your idea. I throw it out there. We talk about it. What do you think about it? What do you associate it with? Good, bad, and the ugly.
Ouch.
Whoa.
I just got pointed as ugly.
I just point to anybody. I kind of point it over here to the mic.
Okay, that's ugly. Get that the fuck out of here.
I got to read what our topics are with this thing.
You need a freaking podium or something.
So here we go. It's not really like a game or anything like that, so settle back. Don't get anxious. This is more just us a reason
extended
to talk about.
Pre-talk.
This is kind of like, it's like free talk, except we're going to go through these segments or these topics and just talk about these instead. So let's go through them. And actually, I try to mix things up so that way you guys don't know what's coming. That way we can at least get like...
We know one thing that's coming.
Oh, yeah, you do. I thought
we do?
The pre-talk.
We did. It was going to be a pre-talk. We moved it to CBA instead.
Justice League?
Because we had to argue about... At first, I thought Garrett was going to be the dumbest man alive. Thinking that Tony Stark was going to be played by some kid.
Oh, my God.
I'm ugly and you're dumb.
You understand why now that I was like...
Nah, we're done. The bet's been made. We'll get back to it in 5-6 years when he plays Iron Man.
CBA, what do you guys think? Doomsday Clock coming up here in 2 weeks.
Watchmen.
I'm so excited. If there's a variant of a variant of a variant of a variant, I'm getting it. I don't care. I'm obsessed. I want
$200. Done. I'll do it.
I mean,
hey,
Jeff Johnson, Gary Frank. Oh, what a great team! And you're gonna have oversized, premium, prestige format books. Like those things, instant read right away.
So this is the cultivation of the 2-year story, right?
Yeah.
It's been 2 years. Rebirth started. Is that right?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. It's not actually 100%.
Like a year and a half.
Next May will be 2 years. But I mean, they didn't give it a hard 2 years. They just said, hey, there's like a...
Yeah.
Well, I guess they've been doubling issues, so it's technically...
Well, and to be fair, how long are we going to wait for this?
Oh, yeah, this will be done probably next May.
I'll say if it's done by next May, then
it is
makes
12
sense.
issues. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
It'll be done by next year. Okay.
Is it double shipping each month? No, it's only coming one out
coming
a
out
month.
once a month. So it is going to be the next year stories.
Yeah.
Until next November, and then it'll be done. So this is going to be the cultivation of Rebirth. This is what we've been leading to, all these hints of Watchmen people, of things messed up with time, people messing with time, Dr. Oz, Mr. Oz.
Dr. Manhattan?
No, who's that guy, Jor-El?
Oh.
Who was he before? Mr. Oz?
Yeah,
What do they call
Mr.
him?
Oz.
Okay. So this is this story. Jeff Johns planned it ahead, planned it with the first one-shot DC Universe, Rebirth, that came out. And you said Watchmen... Al, what's the hype of? Obviously, you're on a 10 out of 10. You're at a 100 out of 100.
I'm ready.
You're at a million out of a million. These are all the same.
Still one.
Alex, where are you at?
You know, I think I'm like at a 7 out of 10 for excitement. Watchmen's never been one of those things like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever read. It's good.
I want to say one thing. Rorschach. How do you not hear that Rorschach's going to be in a comic book during your lifetime that you can read besides before Watchmen?
But the weird thing is that
before Watchmen doesn't count. That was bullshit.
Yeah, like I like Rorschach, but I always like the comedian the most. And if comedian's going to be in this, great. But I doubt it. He's pretty dead last I knew.
Well, I mean,
so is Rorschach.
Kind of a surprise, though. I mean, the blood is on the pins. So.
I don't know. Like, I'm excited, but I think I'll be excited once it starts, and once I'm reading, going, "Oh my god, this was great!" It'll be exciting, yes, to be getting a Watchmen book in my lifetime that I can collect as it goes. Much like those people would have done the first 12
I know
issues.
This crazy guy. He wants to go back and get all the issues of Watchmen, just like we're going to get Doomsday Clock.
I do, and I've actually thought about getting it.
I want to do that now, too, because like they're going to be made the same way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, same design and everything. So I'm just going to say Doomsday Clock.
Because I know Rainbow I know they had the issues. I thought, oh man, that'd be sweet to get.
But yeah, hype level's way up. Gary Frank, he hasn't really done much except those Superman variants for the first 15 to 20 issues.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited based on the creator, Jeff Johns and Gary
Jeff
Frank.
Johns. I mean, he basically came in, did a mic drop with the Rebirth one shot, and hasn't done anything since. Like, this is his next project based off that one issue. Let's go.
So if we're basing off Rebirth, that first issue, I know there's going to be some heartstrings being pulled. There's going to be some just good storytelling and nice callbacks.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for. We got Jeff Johns, Gary Frank. I'm hoping for. I love Watchmen, and I don't expect them to try to mimic Watchmen 100%. I expect them to reference a lot of DC history, and I expect them to. Actually, you know what? Don't really know what I expect. You know what I mean? Like,
there's no way you can.
There's
even
no way I
guess.
know what this plot is.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I even know which way this thing go. Obviously, Superman's involved. Superman's on that logo. I know he's involved. I know Dr. Manhattan's involved. But from that point on, what do we have? I don't know.
Right.
I just know that it's planned. It's not something that they're just going to make up on the fly. It's something that Gary Frank, I know, is notorious for being kind of slow. So
he's had 2 years to work on it.
Yeah, they were starting in November of
that's
last
what I mean.
year.
So hopefully it's done.
Yeah.
So that's not, instead of 12 months, it's not, 2 years.
I was kind of hoping that, near the end, maybe they're going to start, banging it out every 2 weeks so that it is done within the 2-year span that Rebirth was supposed to be.
But I'm hoping that when this is done, we kind of see a combination of New 52, old DC, and we have, what this has been building towards. It's sort of, this whole thing's been a rebirth of DC, and we finally just have, DC Comics. Like, it's going to be over, and we're going to have some characters back that have been gone for a while, and we can just go back to being like, okay, let's go back. I mean, they've been telling stories for a while. They've been dropping hints, and doesn't feel like an event that's been random and it's been nudged into these books. It feels very planned where it shows up, and this thing doesn't feel like it's going to interfere with anything. I don't say crossing over with anything. I don't believe.
No.
I mean, I guess they haven't announced it. But it's going to be a thing that comes out and is going to obviously affect all these books. But I think it affects them in a good way, being like, okay, now you're back to how you were. Like, now you can do whatever. And I really want to see like where that goes. So I'm really curious about it. Be like, the most thing I'm not really hyped. Well, I kind of am, but the thing I am really most is curious. Like, what are we going to get?
Yeah.
Like, I already know Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, they can do amazing things together. Especially, I like that. Their Superman Secret Origins. Batman Earth One, I told you, like, was a surprise for me too. So I like them working together. So they have a high bar to reach, especially when he came out and was like, this is a sequel. The only thing you need to read before this is Watchmen. Yeah. Like, you come out, you say that, you better live up to what you're saying.
That's a big promise to live up to.
And 2 years, you know what I mean? Right. Like, I'm a year and a half, like you said, waiting for what's going to happen with the story ever since that Rebirth ended with Dr. Manhattan putting together a watch. And now we're like, okay, what happens? It's a lot of hype. It's a lot to expect. And
based on the previews art, though, I mean,
that's what I mean.
So
I'm seeing her, every once in a while, something with this type of hype level, every time I see something, like, maybe, like, I don't know. But everything I've seen so far is like, looks like they're killing it. Like, it's going to be good. Oh. So
each issue will be $5 too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, they're longer.
They're bigger. I think they're 46 pages.
And I guarantee you those covers are going to be stock, like card stock.
Nice, yeah.
So I'm excited for it. We'll see what happens with that. Mm-hmm. Second thing on the docket here, Legacy. How do you think it's going so far?
I've enjoyed it. Of all the books I've read, I think they really have tried to go in a positive direction. But I'm worried because all these legacies are either close or starting to end their first arcs.
Yeah.
It's only been 2 months, but some of them could almost be
Well, if they double
3-part.
ship and they do 4-issue arc, yeah,
Right.
it's almost done.
So I'm hoping I don't see a dip in quality as soon as these first arcs are done. But what I've read so far, I've really enjoyed.
It doesn't feel like when we were getting into it, I was like, didn't change any of the creators. Like, isn't it really like DC did a rebirth and was like, we're revamping the whole thing. Marvel felt like they were keeping everything the same and just putting legacy on it. Which at first, we all were worried, like, oh, you said you're going to change, but you actually haven't changed anything. I actually do feel like there's a feeling different about these books. Like they've been told, the creators have been told, a little more free reign to do what you want. Rather than before, it felt so editorialized for Marvel, which was what the New 52 issue was, is that it felt so much like people were being told what to write, how to write it, make more like the movies, all this stuff. And now, at least from the ones I'm reading, it feels more like being like, oh, bring Captain America back. Bring him how he was. Do whatever you want, Mark Waid. And obviously, he's a big person, but also like this issue of Daredevil we just read. It's the first one in the Legacy. It actually does feel like Charles Soule was like, oh, you want to go back and do Kingpin's thing? Go sit with Kingpin. Yeah. Rather than, it doesn't feel like it's being nudged into anything. It doesn't feel like that Kingpin was the one from the Netflix series. It felt like Kingpin from the Marvel universe. Right. So actually, I really enjoy it. Alex, how many legacy books did you get?
Well, there's the Spider-Man where I think it's Fall of Peter Parker.
Amazing Spider-Man.
It was actually pretty good. I mean, it felt like Peter Parker is struggling to be Peter Parker. His escape is being Spider-Man. Like you said, Daredevil feels like Daredevil. Doesn't feel like, I don't know the right way to say
it. It doesn't feel like Netflix's Daredevil.
Yeah, this feels like just a good Daredevil story.
Yeah,
and you're bringing back one of his staple bad guys in Kingpin, who's, as we discussed earlier, doesn't actually seem like he's the bad guy. He's just a guy. What else am I getting that? I know Punisher's coming out next week. Now, I obviously haven't read it yet, but my hope is that they're going to take a step back and bring back this character that I like. Mm-hmm. What's the other book that I was getting?
We were going to get Moon Knight, but they didn't have it. But I heard it was good. Actually,
Have you not read it yet?
No, I haven't read it. Okay. But I heard it's good. I do feel like the books that I've gotten from Legacy actually make me want to try out more books.
Well, is it you and I were talking about getting Black Panther?
Yeah.
Just because I want to try. I mean, I'm respecting the fact that they're actually trying to make these books more back to what they used to be, because they've been beating some weird money train a long time.
Well, yeah, I mean,
at least now they took a step back on, let's get back to these characters. Let's start building what these people fell in love with the first time.
Also, the thing that was kind of sad about Marvel for the last couple of years is that before these comics were being made and the movies were like, oh, let's make it like the comics. And then somewhere along the line, they were like, all those movies and TV shows do good. Let's make it like those. And it's like, no, you guys are supposed to be the guys who set the bar for these movies so that they go, oh, let's do Infinity Gauntlet. Oh, let's do this. And let's do Old Man Logan. They're not going to, like, after eventually, like, none of these movies aren't based on comics. They're all based on something of the comics. Even like we just saw Thor Ragnarok has Planet Hulk aspects in it. And even like a lot of the concepts that we said, Jack Kirby's a big influence on that movie.
Right.
So, like, I think they finally, like, they went to their Marvel Summit. They have a summit like once a year or twice a year where all the writers get together. And I feel like somebody was like, how about we start making stories again where we're telling stories and the people from the movies can be like, oh, like, let's read this story. This can be something could come out right now and they could be like, that's good. We should make that a movie. Yeah. Rather than being, let's go see the movie and be like, oh, let me write that comic.
I don't know if I give them that much trust though. Like, they've done me a lot of wrong, so it's recovering. It's recovering.
It feels like at least there's been.
But I feel like
there's been a try.
I say Legacy feels like at least a choice to make a redemption for us, where Rebirth has been nailing it. I think Marvel's feeling the burn of, wow, a lot of people are liking DC right now because of what they've done. That they've made it character based and not how much money can I make off this. Which, yeah, I mean, I realize you still have to run a business, but you need to be giving the readers and your fans something they want to read and that they deserve.
Yeah. So
Dark Knight style.
Something that also came out this week, some news that somebody who was a big staple of Marvel past, modern Marvel from early 2000s to just a little bit ago. He did the event last year. Brian Michael Bendis got assigned to DC exclusive deal, multifaceted deal, not even just writing comics. He's helping Jeff Johns with the movies. The rumor is just a rumor, but the rumor is that two major reasons why he left were that they used to be involved with the movies more at Marvel, and they got kind of kicked out, and the movies were doing their own thing, which he really, if you're part of those movies creatively, like I said, you're writing the comics, and they finally come to a point where they're like, oh no, we don't need you, we can do our own thing. It is kind of
like Jim Starlin, like he gets no credit for any of that from like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, what you're talking about is that he didn't even know they were reading his book to put it in the movie. The Russo brothers just tweeted a picture of Infinity Gauntlet with like notes in it, and they were like, here's our Bible for this movie. And Jim Starlin was like, oh, that's nice. I don't know, you guys were using my book as a reference. They had freaking post-it notes for certain parts
he's like,
of the
you can
book.
invite me to the set whenever you want.
He's like, oh, that would be nice if I got some money from that. Because I think DC has a deal. That's also another thing too. DC legitimately has a deal where they give what Jim Starlin said. He goes, I made way more money for KGB showing up in Batman vs Superman than I ever have for any of my Marvel stuff. And he said, I've had multiple things for Marvel movies. Thanos has been in fucking every movie. Yeah. That's his character. And nothing. So, and
really?
KG Beast is some minor character and barely in Batman vs Superman.
I didn't even know it was KG Beast to begin with.
Anyways, back to Bendis, though. I was just making a point that,
but that's the thing. Is, so he was part of this movie thing, and so that was one thing that kind of rubbed him the wrong way. And then I think he enjoys the kind of stuff. Like he's doing powers for Sony, and he likes doing that kind of stuff. So anyways, and then at this Marvel Summit that I mentioned, I guess the rumor is that he was pushing hard for, instead of Miles Morales always being referred to as Miles Morales Spider-Man, always being like the second fiddle. He was like, why can't he just be Spider-Man? That's something we've been talking about for a while. I was like, just make him Spider-Man. Why is he always like Miles Morales Spider-Man? The second, like in his own universe, he was Spider-Man. Right. And now the thing that makes him last in this universe is that he's always second behind Peter. And I guess Brian Michael Bendis was fighting hard for that, being like, he should be Spider-Man. Like, why refer to him as anything else other than Spider-Man? Which now they're actually doing. His book's called Spider-Man, but still. So he did get his way, but it rubbed him the wrong way because I guess an editor or something like that said, oh no, diversity doesn't sell. Like, making him the main focus is not going to work. And so Brian's like, okay.
So they've only been doing this for
Jeff Johns are friends. I had a speculation that I told you guys that I guarantee you that he probably relayed this all to Jeff. And Jeff, when he was like, he walked to DC's offices and was like, hey, what do we have to do to get Brian Michael Bendis over here? They worked out something, and now he's over there.
Blew everybody's fucking minds.
He said on Twitter that he's excited, that he feels some sort of revamped creative energy, and he's hoping to go over there and I said on the forecast, some sort of rebirth for himself, and like try to recapture this magic that he had, because he was Marvel,
right?
Like a lot of people. You didn't really read Marvel like in that day and age, but like Brian Michael Bendis was Marvel. Like when you think of any event, Secret Invasion, he did Secret War, he did a bunch of stuff. He was the Avengers writer for a long time.
So the New Avengers is 64 issues long, where Secret Invasion, I think Civil War. There's another thing that goes through that book, like, event wise.
Yeah, and he did Avengers for a long time too. Avengers Disassemble, all this stuff. And that's early 2000s, so probably like 2010 or something like that. Brian Michael Bendis was Marvel. Like the reason why they filed for bankruptcy, they weren't doing great, and he was the guy that came in and was like, hey, how about we start making these comics kind of like movies rather than, kind of campy stuff like that. He came in and made them more cinematic and did great. And that's kind of like the modern Marvel style that you kind of read. Not all of it, but like a lot of it people learn from Brian Michael Bendis. So that's why I've seen a lot of people being like, oh, he's going to go over to DC. Like, I hope he stays far away from my books. And it's like, the dude's a good writer.
Yeah, he just needs the right material.
It's just like, and he's even said, like, he feels a revamped creative energy. It's just that, I'm sure we all like been in jobs where you work for 10 years, you're like, oh, I'm getting burnt out with this. He was burnt out.
Yeah.
So I hope he goes over, he gets a book, and I hope he does a good job.
I loved his tweet, not the one that announced it, but he's like, now which one's Clark? And I was like, fuck yes, yes.
So that's the thing, actually, why I put him on this list and why I said we should talk about him. What book would you like him to write? That's a nice thing to talk about.
So now this is going to be hard for me to choose because as of right now, I've not been a fan of his.
See, that's what I mean. Like, if you're a newer comic, but you've been around for a little bit.
I mean, I've read a little bit of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, man.
So, like,
I know a run that you all three, guest host one and you two, both go, holy shit, this book, one of the best series out there. And so I go, I know it's good. I've read at least the first
Alex, think about this.
4 volumes.
I am notorious. If you know me personally, I'm notorious for starting things and never finishing.
I'm not your friend. I'm just on the show.
I'm notorious for starting things and being like, man, this is so good, and never finishing them. Ever. TV shows, books, whatever. Why the Last Man, Birthright. I'm notorious for
I've read a lot of stuff you haven't read.
This is amazing. And I read 5 issues and I stop. Ultimate Spider-Man, I read in 4 days. Whole thing.
I read it. I burned through it in probably
150 issues, something like that. 200 issues, around there.
Because they were only like 20, 30 pages each issue.
But it's not even that.
Yeah, it's just so good.
It's not even. It gets a different take on Peter Parker. That's not just him being Spider-Man. It's him being Peter Parker. And I like that kind of aspect. That's what I like about that character. Is not how is he going to beat Rhino. It's how is he going to make it to school on time, make it to class on time. How is he going to tell Mary Jane and make that work out? How is he going to tell his Aunt May and all that stuff? And that's what that book was good about. Anyways, what book would you like to write?
The only reason I would say this is just because there's been a lack of talent in this, and that'd be Justice League. But like creatively, I would love like him to do like a Booster Gold Blue Beetle team up book.
Yeah, I think he'd be good with that.
Yeah,
or even like a Blue Beetle Jaime story. Just because you said Ultimate Spider-Man, if it's like in that kind of
or Legion, But I feel like coming up.
Yeah. Okay. You're right, because you got into comics. It's like what I said, kind of 2010-ish. When did you get it?
Oh,
around 52. When was that?
Well,
that's 2010.
Yeah.
What about JSA? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that.
I've been in comics for about 7 years, consistently getting them. So
okay, yeah, that's about 2000 to 2010. Like that's Bendis prime Marvel years.
So I mean, once I read that New Avengers, that 1 through 64, I'll probably be like, holy fucking shit, this is gonna be amazing.
You did buy it.
I've got that,
dude. You should read. That is New Avengers is one of my favorite series of all time. That makes what made me love Luke Cage, what made me love Jessica Jones, and like all these characters that he's great with are from in that series. Yep. He brought on. That's before. Like, Bendis was one of the first people that were like, why don't we have Wolverine on the Avengers? Why don't we have Spider-Man in the Avengers? Yep. And that's from the Avengers. I think he would do really good, with the Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, those kind of stories. But I think he would do really good with Green Arrow. Like, it's kind of like a vigilante, or like a street level character like Luke Cage.
Yep.
Like these kind of characters that he's good with. But also, like, he doesn't have powers. I think Bendis is good about dealing with people who are just like real situations. He made the reason why Marvel hired him in the first place, he used to write crime books, like crime comics. He was like, what Ed Brubaker writes now, that's what he used to write. So I like to see him maybe do like a kind of like a Gotham Central kind of book, maybe.
That'd be sweet.
Like, you don't know, he does Jessica Jones. Like if he did that type of book.
Yeah, and if you could bring Gatos over with him. And,
that's another thing I was thinking about. Yeah. I guarantee you, he has very close relationships with a lot of artists. Mark Bagley, Sarah Pichelli, David Marquez, and like you said, Gatos. I don't know if they have contracts to Marvel, but I guarantee you, once those are up, Bendis is on the phone and being like, "Hey, you guys want to come do this book?"
Oh, damn!
Honestly, it's probably already spoken amongst those guys anyway. Yeah. Going, hey, once you're done with this contract, come over with me.
He already called. Yeah, those people be like, "Hey, I'm going to work on this book."
I was tell you what, if Marquez is on a book, holy shit, I will get that.
I was reading an old Black Lightning comic.
Yeah,
and I saw that Mark Bagley was doing some art for Green Lantern, like Hal Jordan Green Lantern. I was like, man, it looks freaking good.
I wouldn't be surprised with that. Black Lightning.
Yeah.
David Marquez and Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah. Especially this TV show coming out this year.
Oh, actually, that might be a possibility.
Yeah.
You're right. They're doing a mini now, but ongoing with Brian Michael Bendis, that'll sell, and that'll get people interested in that show.
Right.
But I guarantee you he has a free range to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he'll get something.
I mean, obviously, he can't be on Batman. Tom King's on Batman. He can't be...
But Ben Percy on Green Arrow's been so good.
I know. That's what I know. Everything, but everything in DC right now, I don't think there's any book that's like lacking. The only book that was lacking was Blue Beetle. And I was like...
League.
Christopher Priest's coming up.
I know. I say he's coming. That can still suck.
It could, but I mean, we'll see what happens. But Blue Beetle's the only one that was like, that'd be perfect for him. He's right up with Spider-Man. If he can take that character and all of a sudden Brian Michael Bendis is on Blue Beetle and that character becomes like, huge, then that'd be like DC wins on that. He wins on that too.
Yeah.
What do you think also, I wanted to bring up quick before we go to the next one. People, like in the books that he's leaving, Jessica Jones obviously has to end.
That
It's
one,
not going to go on.
Oh my God, it kills me inside because I love it so much. But like for me, I feel like he should end. I want him to end it because I don't want somebody else to take up the mantle.
I bet they'll let him end it on his own.
Do you think they'll let him end it?
I think that's one of those books that you have to let
It's
him
his
end.
character.
It is. But I feel like just because of the Netflix shows and all their streaming services, they're going to do something.
She'll still be in books. She'll be in Defenders.
But he writes Defenders.
Oh, Defenders will be picked up by somebody else.
Yeah, that'll be. But Jessica Jones, like if they end Jessica Jones, I'll be okay as a fan. But if they give it to another writer and that writer fucks it up, I'm gonna be pissed.
I think
Did he create Miles Morales?
Yes.
So what about that? Would that Spider-Man end?
No, I think
No.
Or is
that'll
that
go
too
on.
big now?
That's too big.
It's, yeah.
Jessica Jones can work in different books. I think Miles Morales like needs his own book.
Well, if you create something for Marvel or DC, they own the rights. Typically,
I suppose
nowadays,
I mean, I guess you're
people
right because
still try to keep
Damien
it cut,
Damien
but-
died.
Oh,
but
I also heard another rumor. He was also mad that in Spider-Man: Homecoming they basically used Genki, but they didn't call him Genki. That way he didn't have to get. That way they didn't have to pay him for it.
no royalties for it.
Oh yeah, they
He
called
didn't
him
get paid
Ned
any
instead.
royalties. They called him Ned instead.
And they probably told him, "Oh, you have to put his nickname's Ned in one of your books."
Yeah.
Oh, frick, that'd be.
Can you imagine? They're like, "Oh, we're not going to call him your name because we don't want to pay you, but can you reference our name in your book?"
Damn. Screwed up.
What about Defenders? I believe I was thinking about it. David Walker, who was doing Power Man and Iron Fist, he's already written those two of those characters. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks out of that book. I don't think it maybe be the greatest choice. I do like him a lot, but
He's good, but you know it depends on how he writes them because those first couple issues of Iron Man or Iron Fist and Power Man was good, but near the end it got weird.
Hey, I wanted to give you an update. I read Spider-Man 2, number 3 by Bendis. It was actually really good. But guess what? Miles Morales and Peter Parker weren't even in it. It was all Kingpin and Miles Morales, the other.
the other one. Yeah.
That issue was really good.
It was. Well, the biggest issue I had was those two characters, Peter Parker and Miles Morales. So,
I mean, those two are the most annoying part of that series.
what other book? He's writing one more book, right?
Iron Man.
He's got a book. Oh,
That's
Iron Man.
Yep. And I read the first issue. I really enjoyed it. So I don't know. I might drop it now.
Dan Slott. That way I think that's the only way you get him away
I
from
got to put
Spider-Man.
that on me.
That's the only way you get him away from Spider-Man.
Just because you hate Iron Man in the movies doesn't mean you have
I think Dan Slott's a good writer. I like his Silver Surfer was good. Okay. Once again,
And to be fair, he is. If he's back to the way he's writing Spider-Man right now, he's great.
Yeah, you should be fine.
I think it's the same thing with Bendis. He's been writing Spider-Man for too long. Put him on Iron Man. And I think you...
oh, wait a sec. But for DC, though, I got another idea because they are bringing back Connor Kent.
Superboy.
Bendis on Superboy? Oh.
Whatever he does, I feeling... Well, I just want people to give him a chance.
Yeah.
Like the dude, I know, like you said, like lately he hasn't been great.
Well, no, see, I was telling the guys, I think I said it on the forecast, is that the things that I remember is the bad stuff. It's not the good things that he's written. It's the most recent bad thing that he's written that I didn't like was Civil War 2. And so that's
it
my.
It could have been heavy editing too.
And that's
what it felt
too.
like, yeah.
Is that if Legacy had happened and then Civil War 2 had come out, then maybe it would have been a better written story or would have been something I wanted. Yeah, Civil War 2. I keep thinking I was saying Secret Empire.
Well,
Anyway.
I mean, Civil War 2 existed to make Secret Empire, so I bet you're
And
correct.
that last issue was basically a magazine for all the stuff coming out.
So, I mean,
it really did feel like he was like, we got to figure out a way to get everybody fighting, and then Secret Empire. That's the only reason why Captain can take over, because everybody doesn't trust each other anymore. So yeah, I know what you mean. I just think he'll do a good job.
And I'll say it right now: if whatever book Bendis starts, I will.
But
jump
also,
on
I
and try
think,
it.
I mean, there's a lot of good writers in Marvel, but I think DC has a better support structure for writers. A lot of them do act like they get into a room a lot of times or talk things out together. And like I said, they do kind of like a TV writing room where they all get in a room, and if they're on Batman books, they're all talking about Batman, figuring out stuff together. And I think that kind of support system with Bendis there, and Bendis helping them out, and then helping Bendis out, it just only makes them stronger. I mean, we took Sam Humphries from somebody we didn't like to somebody who gets guy
One
on
of the best
a
books
book.
ever. Yeah.
Don't know.
It took a lot of good writers a lot of writers that we thought were okay. James Tynion, and now the guy's doing amazing stuff on Detective. It takes a lot of writers, and I think it is that support structure that they're there not just being like, hey, I'm working on my book. They're being like, how can we make this whole thing stronger?
Well, and then they bounce ideas off each other, going, "Hey, what if you add this in? Then we can reference it here and here."
I think
and
that's
here.
the best way to work creatively.
Yeah.
Instead of being in your own head and being in your own room, writing up a story by yourself, it's you sit somewhere, you talk it out. Even if you're like, oh, I know the way this has to go. Once you start talking it out, Alex could bring up an idea, and I'd be like, oh, you're right. I didn't even think about
You
that.
have to listen to me first, but sure.
Next thing on the docket here, I actually am really excited. That's why we talked about it for so long. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
I do like Bendis. It's just the last couple of years. How do you guys? I put on here catching up, like on comics. Like, how does that? Like, where are you guys with that? You still drowning?
I'm only behind on this week's stuff because I'm caught up. Other than the obvious collections I have that I'm like 2,000 issues behind on.
I feel like I'm drowning. I all I do is read comics, and I still don't catch up. And I'm behind on all my TV shows. This happens every year. All the new DC shows come out. I watch the first 2 episodes, then I just drop off the face of the earth and try to read comics to catch up. And thankfully, I got my hunting trip coming up this weekend.
Where I won't have time to read.
No, I'll have time to read at night. I mean, you can't hunt all day. All night. Whatever. Fuck. But... yeah, I mean, I think I have 54 left to catch up on, which doesn't seem like a lot, but
Dude, that's a daunting task.
It does.
It took me being a week off from work to catch up.
My goal is to read 6 a day, but that's going to take weeks to overcome whatever I bring in. So I got to some days do more than that.
Yeah.
At what point do you start? Because I'm at this point now. There's no way I would ever catch up on my books. I am way super behind. You said you feel like you're drowning. I'm dead.
Yeah,
you're dead in the water.
You've been dead for a while.
You need to take the camera and do behind the scenes photo and just pan this behind me and see how dead he is.
Mountains of books.
I think one thing that does help is like when I get ready to start reading the books, I do organize them. Not even by universe or anything like that. It's just okay. Wonder Woman 33, 34, and 35. They're together. So when I do get to reading them, it's boom, boom, boom. It does make it easier because I know where the end line is at.
I organize them, but I do organize them like what books I have to read. I actually have a file organizer where it's like, how I always organize my books. It's Independence, Marvel, teams for DC, individuals for DC, Superman books, Batman books.
Yeah. You think I'm bad? He's way worse.
Yeah, I'm very meticulous.
But I was thinking, one of those days that we come over here, he and I can help you organize. Going, okay,
Alex, we've tried that
or we can throw the gasoline down and just light a little on fire.
This place is like
start brand new.
This is Hydra. You cut off one leg or one arm, whatever.
One head.
Yeah, you cut off anything in this room and it multiplies more than 2. I know that.
So, why?
Alex every year gets this hope like, oh, Marvin, we could help you.
No,
and I'm just like, I used to believe him. And then after a while, I was like,
but to be fair, I love looking through comic books. I like looking through what I have. So part of me is like, I just like seeing what Marvin has. Going, oh man, I didn't know you had Alpha Dog 27.
I'm just proud about Marvin putting comics in boxes.
Is it?
Yeah.
When you put all your comics in boxes one time, I was like, whoa, you can see the floor.
Yeah, I need to get something going. But that's the thing also that makes me reevaluate my comic book habits is that when I start looking around, be like, maybe I should get more trades. But then I look at my trades being like, wow, I got to read half of those. And then I start thinking I got to get stuff digitally because maybe then it's organized for me.
Right.
And actually, in digital, like I'm caught up with all my stuff that I've bought. Usually I just buy stuff digitally if I'm like, oh, I missed out that issue. I don't know where like I literally have bought issues because we have to review in the show. And I might look for like half an hour and I'm like, I can't find it. I know I own it, but I don't know where the fuck it is in here.
Oh my God.
And I buy it digitally.
That sounds like
so
a
I can
nightmare.
read it. But that's the thing with reading monthly or even now to the point where it's every 2 weeks is how do you stay caught up if you're a person that reads 20, 40 titles? There's no way. I don't think. And you have to take a week off of work.
Well, to be fair, I just took a week off from work so that I had some time to recover before the holidays. But it's one of those things that, but I don't share your affinity for wanting to watch TV shows. Right. I'm not caught up on Flash. I don't give a shit about Arrow. I watch YouTube videos from time to time. That's really all I watch, or I watch TV with my wife, and it's Netflix.
It's just sometimes like things happen, like maybe, maybe it's one of those weeks you get 32 books. And then,
By the way, if I ever get 32 books,
I've seen you get 32
I know.
books
I'm pretty much saying it now. If I get more than 20 books a week, there needs to be something that either gets left there and I'll pick up again later.
But there's those weeks where all the companies front load their orders for 1 week.
Dark Horse.
It's just kind of weeks, so I'd reevaluate being like, do I really need all these books?
Exactly.
And that's when usually when I start making cuts, be like,
that's why I was going to cut Michael Cray. I was like, well, does it really? I mean, it's not necessary for me to read Wildstorm.
Well, that's what I did with Aquaman because I was picking up for the art.
Yeah.
And the art is very fantastic. But I haven't read an issue of Aquaman since the first arc, and I've been picking it up.
Yeah. The next issue doesn't have Sajik on it, so I'm dropping off again.
Like the Sender too. I read the first issue, and I got up to what's it up
12
to now?
You were at 12 or 13, now we're up to 24.
And I was like, no, I was farther than that.
You sure?
Yeah. How long has Rise of the Robots been going?
We've been 3 issues in.
Yeah, we still got 2 more to
It
go.
was like 2 before that.
Okay. So you're up to about 20.
You know what I think it
it
is?
was like
It's probably you
22.
turn that cover in because there's always the previously in Descender, and it's really freaking huge.
Which surprises me is that's one of those books that I got thinking, okay, you guys are going to get it because it's science. And that's the reason I'm surprised you don't actually stay caught up on that one. Now, I
would like it if I read it. I don't have. That's the thing. Like I told you about this, like Birthright and Why the Last Man. I don't know what it is. Like I start something, and I was like, "This is good, guys," and then I lose interest.
I know your issue. You can't find Descender.
Hey, that's part of it. You're not wrong there. Dark Knight's Metal. How's it going so far? Good? Bad?
I really enjoy it. I think it spans, like, it wasn't meant to be this, but like I like how Scott Snyder's consulted like Grant Morrison or other creative teams behind Batman or other characters, and they're really spanning the entire history of DC basically through this story. I'm not saying that this was always intended to be this, but he went back and he's pulled from so many sources, like you were talking about Paul Gilligan or whatever his name is. Peter Milligan or whatever. Yeah, was that right? Yeah, nice. It's just fun. It's fun to read all these histories and see how everything like intertwines in the background, like in Metal 3, where he points out the examples of throughout the entire Snyder Capullo run of all the metals that Batman's interacted with to become
Batanium.
Right.
Batamium.
It really does feel a very Grant Morrison-esque story.
Yeah.
That Scott's writing. It feels fun. Like you said, it
it's so fun that Grant Morrison's going to come write a book for
He
it.
is. He consulted with Scott on the title in general, and it got him so into it. He's like, hey, can I come write? And he's writing The Wild Hunt, or he's writing part of The Wild Hunt. Because The Wild Hunt would be kind of like this issue Lost was, it would be multiple people.
Oh, that's cool.
He's writing a part of that. And he's also going to do, the DC, the Dark Knight's Metal books are going to spin off. There's going to be some spin-offs of it. Obviously, we have the Terrifics, and we have, I forgot what the other one is.
Damage, Silencer, Signal.
And Grant Morrison's going to co-write one of those books. Like, he's slowly coming back and so, like, it really does feel...
He's taking a hiatus. I mean, he's been doing heavy metal.
Can you imagine, in a 6 months to a year time, we're going to be talking Grant Morrison, Brian Michael Bendis, Tom King, Scott Snyder,
Doomsday Clock,
like all these people at DC writing stories. Jeff Lemire's coming back too to write Terrifics. Like, these are strong writers coming to DC, and I think it's kind of showing that, and not that like I don't know. These are all obviously people who've been around for a while. They're not new people.
Yeah.
So there's something at DC right now that gives these veteran writers confidence, being like, oh, that's the company I want to be with. I think Marvel's getting shots more to new people right now and new ideas and like that, which is good. But it's kind of hard it's hit or miss because you don't know if a new writer's going to be good or not. So I really do. I feel more comfortable at DC reading those kind of books around because I know what Grant Morrison's going to write. I know what Scott Snyder's going to do. I know what Tom King's going to do. I know what Brian Michael Bendis is capable of. So it really does feel nice. It does feel like DC, especially with the story, is really trying to go back. And I mean, Marvel's using this term now, legacy, but the whole time when they were talking Rebirth, they were talking about legacy. It's that whole video that hyped up that Rebirth one shot was Jeff Johns saying Rebirth means legacy. And it does feel like it. And I think that's what's attracting these veteran writers to be like, oh yeah, I like that DC, that old school DC. And this metal is just another portion of that makes me feel like, oh yeah, they really are going back to history and like embracing their history rather than in New 52, basically about like ignoring it, demolishing the whole thing. So yeah, it makes me excited. It's good. It's been good so far.
Yeah.
And then like I was telling you guys last week, or I was in the forecast, one of the two, a lot of new readers that before I would see trades every once in a while on their desk at work and stuff like that. A lot of people said they've been keeping up with metal. So it even has like that mainstream appeal. Yeah. And it's been selling amazing. Every time I see top 10 selling listed, like all the issues on there. Not even just like metal, the one, it's all the tie-ins, it's Batman Lost probably going to be on there.
All those Batman
Bats Out of Hell
one-shots. So good. I caught up on all those too. So.
Those are good.
How many more do we have?
A few more.
I was just curious.
Why, you want me to cut some?
No, you're fine.
Well, this one probably can go quick. I just was curious. Where are you guys at with the Justice League movie? What are you expecting? Think it's going to be good? Bad?
So, my expectations... Okay. So, going into a DC movie, my expectations you would think would be more like a Civil War 2. But my expectations for this movie are rising up to a doomsday clock, if you catch my drift, which is so bad. I can't help myself, though. As a DC fan, I can't contain
You're really that
my
hyped
excitement.
for it?
I am so excited, you guys.
I really have. I'm still like, you know what? This could be good, but I've got Batman vs Superman in my mind going, wow, this could be a shit fest.
But then think about Wonder Woman. And this is like Jeff Johns helped Joss Whedon create this movie. Like, this is Joss Whedon went back in, and yes, a lot of it was filmed by Zack Snyder. Like, props to him for what he contributes to this movie. But, like, the score, like, even talking about the scores amped me up. Seeing those trailers has amped me up. Having the Justice League on screen for the first time ever. Yes, we didn't get a lot of build up to it. Yeah, live action. I mean, how amazing is that? Do you guys remember before Batman Superman, yes, it tanked, but how excited we were? We were like,
yeah, and look how it bit me in the ass.
But then we watched the 3-hour version. Yes,
they made it bit me in the ass.
They made it dark and depressing, which sucks. But like, I feel like Joss Whedon, he basically did Avengers 1 and 2. But he has the potential to give you the team you want.
I have the excitement. I was more excited for Avengers because Avengers had proven itself with their movies building up that's going to be good. I am excited for the fact, yes, the JL are going to be together finally for the first time in live action. But I'm also going, I don't know, that I'm not excited for the fact that I know these movies have not built up really well, other than Wonder Woman, aces.
Yeah.
But I can't let it rest on one woman's shoulders.
Man of Steel wasn't horrible, it just wasn't great.
Well, yeah. But you know what? I've only watched it the one time, and I don't remember any of it. So, other than watching Superman get thrown on the ground repeatedly.
This is his first bang.
Yay!
This is his first fight.
Anyway, but I don't want Wonder Woman to always be the saving grace for this movie. And when I watch the trailers, I'm like, yeah, it looks good, but...
If you weigh what you know about this movie, though, if you made a positive and con list, there's so many more. I mean, there's so many things in the positive pile.
See, for me, it has to be more than that. It has to be more than, like you just said, this is the first time you've seen the Justice League on screen. Yeah, it's cool, but am I going to sit 2 hours in a theater and be like, man, that's cool, they're on the screen? No, it's going to be cool for 2 seconds, and then I'm, okay, what's the story going to be like? And those trailers really don't show up in the story, which might be good, or that might be the movie. You know what I mean? I might know the movie. They might recruit everybody, and then there's that fight scene at the end. Like, it's gonna be.
I know, but like, think about it. We got Joss Whedon directing. We have Chris Terrio writing the script. He didn't do that much.
That's the thing.
He re-edited the entire movie. If he would not, there's no way Joss Whedon would put out something that he would not put his okay on. Like,
but he's not. He's not credited as a director.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
He took over the director's credit.
No,
I've seen that all over.
No, he did not.
He's letting Zack Snyder take the director's credit.
You have to direct over 50% of the movie for the GGA to allow you to be a director credit.
I swear it's
only did reshoots of the movie, and he wrote 40%. No, he wrote 40 pages of the script, or 24. One of the two. He has a writing credit.
I thought he said he replaced the director's credit.
No, but Zack Snyder's the director.
Okay. Well, still.
It might be also a symptom. Also, I was worried about of too many cooks in the kitchen. You have Joss, you have Zach, you have Jeff Johns, you have.
But Jeff Johns is working with Chris Terrio on that script.
Chris Terrio.
Is he actually Argo?
Is he actually the? I thought they threw out Chris Terrio's script.
They might have. Let me look.
So it's one of those things that
Ben Affleck also had creative input.
Yes,
trying to bring me down.
But I'm so worried that this movie is going to be
I'm the same way.
Too busy.
You know what also is making me worry about it is that no reviews are out. They have
that 30 legitimate.
The embargoes for the reviews lift on Tuesday night, so that way they're going to only be out for a full day before the movie comes out on Wednesday.
I hate that Rotten Tomatoes determines if people are going to like a movie or not nowadays.
I know, but
like a movie just can't come out.
Well, you can't hear people's opinion of the movie.
Oh, you're right. It is
you're right. Rotten Tomatoes does not mean much. Like when you see that score, it really doesn't mean anything. But when I read reviews from people that I know and trust, especially somebody like me that I follow reviewers, I follow, like I know Michael Phillips, I know and A.L. Scott, like I know people who I look at their reviews and go, oh, I know what kind of movies they like. I know if they say it's good, it's going to be good. I know if I see Peter Travers saying it's the best movie ever, I know it's not going to be good. Because Peter Travers says that every movie is good.
Screenplay by Chris Terrio and Joss Whedon.
Okay. So
it's written by.
I maybe Terrio threw out a script and he rewrote it. Maybe that's what happened. I do know that at some point when Chris Terrio wrote the script. Oh, no.
Wrote it with Zack
Chris
Snyder.
Terrio came in and threw away the script and he wrote the script. Yeah. And then Joss came in and rewrote part of his script. Which might be good, might be bad. Well, at least it's two people.
So anyway, to sum up.
So I'm saying.
Super excited. A little weary.
Cautious.
Yeah.
Like I was worried about my ticket. I'm going to that movie and we're going to review the show.
I still have time to go, fuck this shit. I'm not going.
It's going to be cool, but it's only going to be cool if it has a good story and those characters are going to be developed on the screen, not if just Aquaman showing up and saying cool things every once in a while. You know what? And Flash is funny every once in a while.
You know, the weird thing, every time I see Aquaman, all I see is, what's his name in Game of Thrones? Khal
Drogo.
Drogo, there you go. I can't remember the last name. Drogo, that's all I ever see. I know, I get that, but that's, to me, it looks like the same fucking character.
What do you think of...
he's got the beard, he's got the long hair.
Jeff Lemire.
Oh, dude. That dude is just nailing it everywhere. His Royal City is great. Black Hammer, probably one of my favorite series, just because that book just is so well written. He just makes little... tabs to other things that have already been made. Hall of Hammers. It's like, oh man, it's like
Descender.
Descender's. I'll admit, Descender's good, but it's not nearly as spectacular as it was when it first started.
Yeah, I think it's getting lost in what he was trying to tell for that story, and it comes out really slow.
Yeah,
except for this arc, it's coming out a little quicker.
But it's like,
it doesn't seem like it's going.
But excitement for him to come to DC doing the Terrifics, awesome.
Well, weren't you the one that told me that it's like, well, if Marvel's not going to do a Fantastic Four book, we're going to do this. Yeah, that gets me amped.
And so it's one of those books. He's one of those writers that has established himself as a great writer. That anything he's on, I want to be a part of. Anything he has written, I want to eventually read. Yeah,
he's good, and he's better when he tells stories from Old Man Logan.
Mm-hmm.
I knew there's a book you guys were forgetting. Old Man Logan. He's good when he tells personal stories like Royal City. I feel like Black Hammer is also kind of a little personal for him. Like his idea of superheroes, his take on them. And then he's also good when he does like an Old Man Logan, which is just a story about Logan, or when he does what other book does he do? He literally just
Descender.
Oh yeah, Descender. When he does, I like this Trillium. I thought it was good. I didn't really like it.
And it makes me excited for his new book. That's AD.
And I'm excited for Terrifics a lot. Like I'm really looking forward to that book. I'm really looking forward to Gideon's Falls. So it's good. Jeff Lemire has been a guy that was doing great, and then for a second when he was doing like all those Marvel books for a while, Extraordinary X-Men,
he's getting burnt out.
He got lost. And at that point, I would say the same thing like I would say about Bendis. At that point, I would have been like, oh, Jeff Lemire's not a good writer. Or like he lost. He used to be good. That's what I used to say when I saw Extraordinary X-Men. He's like,
Moon Knight was good.
Moon Knight was good. That's right before he left, yeah. And I feel like Moon Knight, somebody though that they were just like, oh, do whatever. And he's like, oh, okay.
All right, I'll do it.
But Extraordinary X-Men, they're like, no, this is Wolverine. This is all the people. And they're like, okay. Good. Jonathan Hickman. I have on this list because the rumor is that DC were like knew he was interested in working with DC, so they said, "Hey, pitch some things, and we'll see what kind of ideas you have." And he pitched something, and that DC liked, and so they offered him a deal. That's the rumor. So we'll see if he accepted or not. He did post after Bendis said that he's going to DC. He responded with a picture. Did you see this on Twitter? He responded with a picture from Dead Poets Society. You guys ever seen that movie? Dead Poets.
I've seen parts of it.
There's a part in the movie where all the students stand at their desks and say, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," because the teacher's getting fired, Robin Williams. and they're showing their defiance, being like, if you're firing him, like, I'm not gonna listen to you either. Like, they like him so much that they're gonna go down with him. That's his captain. So when Bendis went to DC, he tweeted that picture, and people were like, "Oh, he's saying like that's my captain. I'll go where he goes." And then that rumor for DC came out the next day. So people were like, "Oh yeah, there's like he's making it up in all this sense." But also, to be fair, Hickman is notorious for being a super troll on Twitter. So I don't know if I believe that either. He's been talking about Legion for like a year on Twitter.
Legion would be so good. If
He's been talking about that he had lunch with Jim Lee. That is true. Jim Lee tweeted that. He had lunch with Jonathan Hickman about some ideas. But that was like 3 months ago. So I don't think, but that might have been the time when he was like, "Hey, pitch something. Like, what are you thinking of?" And so I really like Hickman, East to West. It's coming out next week.
Yes, I believe so.
Black Minded Murders.
Yes.
He's not a guy like a Jeff Lemire that everything comes out, it kills. That is great, but majority of it does. I like Manhattan Projects. He has some other books that really.
Yeah, I'll admit I've read I think half of Manhattan Projects, and the one thing that is great about that book, every issue, those covers are amazing. But when I read it, I'm still like, I don't know if I like this book. East to West, fantastic. When I know what's going on, it's fantastic. Black Monday Murders. Holy shit! Probably one of my favorite series of the year.
I know I missed that. It's on a break right now.
Comes out next week too, I think.
Really?
Or the week after. One of the two.
Yeah, I think it's November.
It'll come back pretty soon. So I mean, we talked about before: Grant Morrison, Tom King, Scott Snyder, Brian Michael Bendis, all these veteran writers. If they get Jonathan Hickman,
holy shit! DC would have the monopoly on great writers.
Oh, another thing that adds to some credence to this rumor is after Brian Michael Bendis got hired, Jeff Johns tweeted, "Welcome, Brian Michael Bendis." No, was it Tom King or Jeff Johns? One of the two.
It was Tom King. I think you sent us that picture.
If you guys think that we're done with announcing some news, you're mistaken. There's more to come. So we'll see. I'm excited. He's been talking about that Legion book forever. So like, I'm more at this point. I really don't know anything or really care about Legion that much. But if you've been tweeting about it for a fucking year, I kind of like, I'm at a point now where I'm like, can I just read it? Like, what are you talking? What's going on?
And Frank Quietly on Legion of Super.
So we'll see what that's about. We got two more things here. Tom King, this guy that came over from Marvel, doing a Vision story, doing his own, doing Mega Man, doing Sheriff of Babylon, and now he's in charge of Batman. He's doing a DC Swamp Thing, one-shot winter special. He's doing Sergeant Rock, and he's doing, what else is he doing right now? Mr. Miracle.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. For DC. Where are you guys on Tom King now?
I think I've become more of a fan than what I used to be. I still don't really agree with his first like 3 arcs of Batman, whatever was before the Iron Bane arc. I thought he was learning, but he doesn't quite figure it out until that arc. And ever since then, it has been good. I went back and read The Vision because you guys claimed that was really good, and I really enjoyed that. I'm loving him on Mr. Miracle, and you know, anything he does, like those annuals, like he did the dog story that he won in Eisner for, was so good. I really respect him as a writer more than I used to, and I like seeing that he's getting more involved with more books. Like he gets more creative say in what he's doing, so I'm excited to see where he goes next.
I think he's one of those writers that when he tells a story, once he, like you said, the first 3 arcs of Batman, I seemed less of Tom King telling me a Batman story, and it's what he thinks Batman should be like.
Yeah.
Where he's finally taking the reins for himself, and he's telling us stories that he believes in, that he's backed. I read his Omega Man. For me, it was weird. It was a funky book. It was a weird book for me to jump into. I'd never heard of these characters. But Tom King is just, he's found his niche, and it's telling heartfelt stories. And I think that's like my big thing for him is it's heart. His vision is just, it is so good. Like that's one of those series that I think you need to read. And his Mr. Miracle is great so far. And I can only see it getting better or staying at a plateau.
I really like Tom King a lot. I like the way he tells stories. It really speaks to a way that I like reading stories. I think also though, I really do like if you ever heard an interview with Tom King or read or listened to him just talk candidly. I do like that he said in an interview one time that he was told, I forgot what writer told him, it might have even been Bendis, that he was told one time never to talk bad about your own stories because that could be somebody's favorite story. So never say, oh, I hate that issue of Batman. I don't like how I wrote it. Because somebody would be like, oh, I like that Batman. Like, that's my favorite. But he said that somebody told him that, but he actually doesn't subscribe to that. Like, he'll say something's bad. And, like, that's what he said about Batman, too. He said he thinks for a while he was trying to write what he thought Batman's story should be like rather than being like, let me write my story. And Batman's involved. And I think that is probably a little bit of him getting signed by DC by sure a huge deal, getting announced to be on Batman, and the pressure of being like, I got to write a Batman book, and DC's like signing me to this deal and coming over because he, like you said, vision, and he was working on his own stuff, and then the pressure came, and for a second he was like, oh, I got to live up to this. But now I think after that happened, I think right now, where he is right now, he's back to being like, okay, let's just keep writing stories. Like, I'm good right now. And everything that's coming out right now, you're right. Like, I'm excited for anything he's doing right now.
That Swamp Thing winter special is going to be amazing.
It is.
It's going to be so good.
Everything, he keeps tweeting those pictures from it. And every time I look at him, I'm just like, God.
I saw he's got another story coming out in the DC holiday special, too, so I'll definitely be getting that.
Oh, is he? Yeah, you're right. He wrote...
All the good writers are on this the holiday special. Like, the Halloween special, they kept it, like, under wraps, but they're like, but Keith Giffin's on it. I'm like, what?
Nope.
Yeah. What was that called? Omega Man?
Yeah, Omega
Man.
Man.
I have Hoopla. I was checking for it on Hoopla. Grayson. He was going to Grayson. They have Grayson there.
Until they left sporadically.
Well, he left,
through,
yeah.
I know.
They had other stuff to do. Obviously, they were ramping up the Rebirth. So, like, so that's why they jumped off. Which,
Yeah, but you know what? The weird thing is those last 5 issues make me think that the whole run of Grayson was bad. Because I forgot about those first.
yeah, it was fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, we loved that book. And then last 5
Got
issues.
spoiled.
You're right.
When you're talking about I can't even remember their names now.
Spiral?
No.
The old lady?
Whatever the girl's name
Spider
was.
Lady?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid people that no one cares about.
Yeah, it was kind of rushed. But
Yeah.
Tom King's at a point right now where I think anything he gets out, he's earned enough trust past that point where Vision's one of my favorite stories. The last thing...
He's going to cry.
No, I haven't had a Vision in a while. I mean, obviously, if I go back and read it, it's going to be my Rocky, but I can't. Of course. The last thing I had on the list, and it's not really nothing that you guys have to name any right now, but I thought I'd bring up the subject so that we can start turning the gears. It's coming to the end of the year. We're going to start doing these best of shows. Do you think, though, I'm going to throw this question at you. Oh, that's why we're all turned down. How did this get turned on? I was just like, why are you guys so soft?
You're like Brainiac. I see you touch a button every 30 seconds.
I don't ever touch this one, though.
To be fair, I've been looking at that going, wow, we are really quiet. Maybe we're just whispering into these.
Oh, the iPad was here.
Oh, that's why. Detective.
Watch that. Oh, you can't see it in the video. Oh, you probably can. Yeah, that's why I was turning like Garrett up way up here and didn't really know that. Best of lists. Do you guys think it'd be easier or harder now that we've been, like last year we did a show for a half a year and then we did best of. We've been doing a show for this whole calendar year so far. Is it when we talk about books every week? So we were like more aware of being critical on books, more thinking about like, is this book good or not? Or like half a year last year, you're just reading books to like them or not. Is it going to be harder or easier this year in terms of that? Because you've been more aware of books, but also because of the calendar books coming this year to pick your best of.
I think with the caliber of books, it's more difficult because there's books that I lean towards, but then I got to think. I read probably over 2,000 books, if not more books, this year alone, and I go, man, what did I read back in January? What ended in March that I want to remember because there was something good back then too. I think it's gonna be hard.
I think it's going to be difficult as well. I mean, there's been such great content coming out. It's going to be a hard competition for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be one where there's going to be books fighting for that 5th spot because it's just.
How do you think about it? We have Kill or Be Killed, Deadly Class, Royal City, Black Monday Murders.
Oh shit.
East to West.
Because I think, in all honesty, if this. Sorry, I didn't mean to kick your chair. I think it's going to be one of those things we almost have to go, is it going to be a mini thing? Like, can minis be included? Is Mr. Miracle going to be an option for us?
We might have to break out different
I think it's going to be ongoing
Detective
things.
Comics, Green Lanterns.
Yeah. I mean, there's
How to do speed rounds.
Well, I'm almost thinking personally
Top
for
5
us,
team books, go.
the way it's going to have to be, it might have to be top 5 DC books, top 5 Marvel books. And if you can't name 5 Marvels, yeah, that's not a problem.
I probably could. I remember when I used to have real difficulty because I didn't want him to be in my favorite.
Yeah.
Like Thor.
But it's only, I mean, I've got so many books that I actually really do enjoy that. I mean, Deadly Class is one of those books I'm sure is going to show up on one of our 3 lists, if not all 3 of them. That's a book we talk about.
Who knows? Is it
so
still
much.
all our number ones? We'll see.
But it's one of those things that maybe it's not going to be a number 1. I have to see what the next issue's like. But
until the deadline comes, who knows?
But it's one of those things that I want to ask our guests, our listeners, to go, hey, what are your top 5s? Because I tell you what,
Should we wait till our holiday issue, our episode, our 1 year, I mean, or whatever, January.
Well, 1 year's passed.
The best of.
Yeah. What about it?
I mean, should we wait for those for when we're doing that?
What are you talking about?
Because you said you're bringing up the best ofs, like our list in the year.
Yeah.
Never mind. I just
was telling them I want to include them so they're part of it too.
Fuck. Huh?
Yeah, dumb shit.
My bad.
Dick licker.
I'm a
Yeah,
dick licker.
Alex makes a good point. There's 2 things that if you want to call the hotline, it's in the notes. Look in the notes
Dick.
down there to leave a voicemail, either for your best of the year. Eventually start posting what the categories are, and then also information for the book club. If you want to leave your thoughts about the book club, those voicemails I can start collecting those and get them ready for those 2 shows. So if you want to be involved in the best of shows or involved in the book club shows, get your voicemails in right away, because if you don't get them in and I'm re-editing that show, guess what? I'm not going to go back and re-edit that show to put them back in. It takes way too long.
Yeah, book club's coming up quicker than you think.
Yeah, no,
January 5, that's not too far away.
Yeah,
That's what we decided, right? January 5, they did.
Yes. I think it's going to be really hard. There's a big caliber of books, but also there's like a lot more stuff I'm more worried about because we're reading. Like there's a lot of books that for this show I'm like, I'm going to read for the show, or like, oh, let's try that out for the show in case it's good. So there's a lot more books I'm reading now just because of the show. So I think it'd be harder. I should have been taking notes the whole time, but I didn't. There's only one thing, and I'm not going to ask you guys. It's probably too hard, but I'll probably bring it up between those shows. The only thing I've been keeping track of is my favorite issues of the year. Like single issues.
No.
Oh.
We'll have to start that July 1st when I can do it. Because right now I'm going, there's maybe an issue or 2 I could tell you. But
You're going to start midway through next year?
What?
July 1st?
January.
You said July.
No, I didn't.
I wasn't paying attention either.
Shut your face.
Wednesday Comics 605 at gmail.com. Oh, hit that too early. If you want to send us email about the book club or your top 5, if you want to send email instead of voicemail, that's fine. Voicemail number, I would tell you what it is over this audio, but I do not remember. But it's always included in the notes if you ever want to look. You can give us a call, leave us a voicemail, including the show. If you want to contact us on Twitter, at Garrett2188, at Alex Pastrallo, and at Marvin _Salguero, also at Pastrami _news for Alex. He talks about news about lunch meat over there. Find us on Facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Podcast. On YouTube, search for Wednesday Comics. You'll find us there. We have a lot of video. Like I said, you got to get that video if you want to watch this Thanksgiving episode. It's going to be very visual heavy. I like to make the audio first. Obviously, it's the first thing that came out. And I don't like to, what do you call it? Not include the audio listener in what's going on. But there's no way for us to make that Thanksgiving episode audio friendly. Like it's going to be very visual. So like just go to there, subscribe. That way you don't, and click on that bell. And then it'll send you a message being like, hey, that video, Wednesday Comics has posted a video. That way you always know that videos are posted.
The only thing you're going to get, I think, audio from us is there's going to be a lot of swearing or a lot of gagging. One of the 2.
Crying.
Or crying.
Make sure that you find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, subscribe, rate,
Like
review.
point at us.
Leave us a review in there. Like I said, sometimes you don't want to leave stars. That's fine. If you want to leave a written review, that's fine. Everybody that has so far, thank you very much. It helps us find new listeners, find people all around the world. We're big in Canada for some reason. I don't know why. You know why?
It's cold up there.
Close. It's right up here. I believe that's all.
Your name is?
Book Club, remember, January 5th, The Other Side by Jason Aaron and Cameron Stewart.
Well, actually, we should probably let you know to read Batman by Gaslight for Thanksgiving, just in case you want to talk about it with us. So listen to us talk about it.
Okay. Supposed to be a surprise, but okay.
Was it really?
Edit that out.
Yeah, just take it out. Was it supposed to be a surprise?
I just told you I hate editing the show and you're making more work for me. That's going to be in the show now. It gets the cats out of the bag. It's only 2 weeks away. Who gives a shit? It was Garrett wanted it to be a surprise. Don't look at me.
Well, you wanted it to be a surprise?
It's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's not surprise day.
I am
not going to be prepared for
your
it.
16-year-old Tony Stark, Marvin.
And it might be 2 weeks away, but it's not going to be posted till the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but the show's going to be out on Sunday. So less than 2 weeks away, you'll know what we're doing.
2 shows from now.
I suppose.
I literally just said my name. What's your name?
I'm Alex.
And I'm Garrett. Why'd you point at me?
Hey, everyone, keep turning those pages.